subscribe, like the video, and, if possible, join Patreon. But if you don't have much money, you can support the channel by watching the novels on euroaudiobooks.com. Remember that you can participate in the polls so that your favorite novel gets published for free.
In the school library. I think you seem to be fully literate. If you need it, I can borrow it for you. Yu Yang wrote. Then I'll trouble you. Teacher you. Liu Yun said gratefully. It's a small thing. You are the genius of our Jiuzhou. If Jiuzhou wants to prevent the harassment of those barbaric beasts, geniuses like you are the most important. Yu Yang said seriously. At this time, Liu Yun suddenly received a reminder. Trigger a random mission. Comprehend the Boxing Sutra and obtain the achievement of Kung Fu Enlightenment. This task made Liu Yun slightly stunned. Is this mission just for achievements? Other attributes are not given at all. Teacher you, if it's okay, I'll go back first, Liu Yun said. Well, go ahead. Yu Yang waved his hand and let Liu Yun leave. Liu Yun left the office, and Yu Yang looked at the retreating figure and murmured to himself, I never thought that I, Yu Yang, could meet such a genius in my mediocre life. Maybe in the future, these few years of teaching him here, can it be the most dazzling period of my life? When Liu Yun came back, Shang Lingling was the first to come over and ask him, Bookworm, what did teacher you ask you to do? Recommend me to read a book. Liu Yun said, still reading? Did you agree? Shang Lingling's big watery eyes were full of disbelief. Yes, agreed. Liu Yun nodded. You don't want to practice boxing anymore? No. Teacher, you won't let you practice boxing anymore? She asked angrily. It was obvious that she had misunderstood Yu Yang and wanted to avenge Liu Yun. No, it's just that I have mastered the basic boxing skills, so the teacher recommended that I read the Boxing Sutra, Liu Yun said with a smile. Really? Shang Lingling looked at him in disbelief. Shang Lingling suddenly felt like she didn't know how to speak. Her little brain couldn't figure out why Liu Yun, a person who read books all year round, learned the basic boxing skills when. However, after what Liu Yun said, she recalled that Liu Yun seemed to be much better than everyone else in practicing basic boxing these days. If you have any questions about boxing in the future, just come and ask me, Liu Yun said with a smile. Shang Lingling has a very high level of understanding, and now her level of understanding is already 60 points. Although it is not as good as Liu Yun's 70 points, she is already very abnormal for someone who has no Goldfinger and grows naturally. For a talent like her, she can practice basic boxing very quickly with just a little guidance. Okay, I will come to you if I have any problems in the future. Shang Lingling was not entangled. Unlike Liu Yun, she had nothing to be dissatisfied with. She even felt that Liu Yun needed to be better than herself. In this way, when they grow up, Liu Yun can protect himself. Chapter 20 Virtual True Martial World. The next day, Teacher Yu Yang brought Liu Yun the Boxing Sutra, as promised. Later, when other students were practicing Kyushu basic boxing technique, Liu Yun sat aside and read the Boxing Sutra with peace of mind. It was also while reading the Boxing Sutra that Liu Yun finally understood why this task had no extra attributes. Because as the time he read the Boxing Sutra progressed, attributes were gradually dropped for him. You read the Boxing Sutra for 10 minutes, and you seem to have some enlightenment, and your strength +3. You read the Boxing Sutra for an hour, gain insights, and gain +5 strength. You read the Boxing Sutra for 24 hours, you have a deep understanding, and your strength +10. You read the Boxing Sutra for 100 hours and finally had an epiphany. Strength +10, agility +5. You complete the mission, obtain achievements, and your boxing skills are clear. Achieve clear boxing skills and increase the speed of practicing boxing skills by 100%. In 100 hours, Liu Yun completely understood the Boxing Sutra. These 100 hours took more than a month. After all, he only spends 2 or 3 hours reading every day. However, more than a month has passed, and Liu Yun has gained so much, and he is already very satisfied. Coupled with the achievement of transparent boxing, he will be able to practice boxing faster in the future. On this day, Liu Yun came to his teacher Yu Yang's office. Liu Yun, what's the matter? Yu Yang asked doubtfully. Teacher Yu, I'm here to return the book. Liu Yun said, offering the book with both hands. Yu Yang took the boxing sutra and asked doubtfully, "Have you finished reading it? Do you understand anything?" "After reading it, I understand a little more about the use of boxing than before," Liu Yun said modestly. It is impossible for him to say that he has fully understood the boxing sutra, because if he said it, he might not believe it. "Oh, do you have any boxing skills to practice now?" Yu Yang asked. "Yes." Liu Yun nodded. "That's good if you have it. Then you should work hard on practicing your boxing skills first," Yu Yang said. After all, he was just an ordinary teacher, and he couldn't give Liu Yun any boxing skills. "Yes, I will." "Teacher, then I won't disturb you." After Liu Yun finished speaking, he silently withdrew. After Liu Yun returned the boxing sutra, he practiced his boxing alone in the martial Dao class. After the mission was gone, Liu Yun's life returned to normal. When it was time to practice boxing, he would practice boxing. When it was time to study, well, he would simply study. Time passed day by day, and it was the end of the semester in a blink of an eye. The end of the semester is here, and it's time for exams. On the day of the exam, Liu Yun suddenly received a reminder. Trigger random tasks, reach the top of the grade in the final exam, and get Soul +3. 3 points of soul power is also a huge improvement for Liu Yun. He felt it was obvious that the higher you go, the greater the improvement will be brought by adding a little soul. These 3 points of soul are naturally determined to be obtained. The final exam went very smoothly. The exam is over and I return home. On this day, when his father Liu Hong came back, he asked Liu Yun something. "Yunner, do you want to practice in the virtual true martial world?" Virtual true martial world? When Liu Yun heard this, he was immediately overjoyed. He said expectantly, "Yes, Dad, do you want to take me to practice?" Virtual true martial world. Liu Yun has heard of his name for a long time. This is a virtual space created by Kyushu. In a virtual space, various wild beasts can be simulated. Of course, all types of savage beasts are ones Kyushu martial artist has come into contact with. After all, if you have never been in contact with it or collected samples, it is naturally impossible to simulate it. But even so, the number of such books is already very abundant. It is very useful for people like Liu Yun who have never been exposed to wild beasts. However, the virtual true martial world can only be used by people from the true martial department, and even relatives cannot generally use it. "I'll take you there tomorrow, and Grandpa Shang will accompany us," Liu Hong said. When Liu Yun heard this, he immediately understood. It turned out that Mr. Shang Yangming took action. Otherwise, even if his father was a senior colonel, he would not be able to change the rules of the true martial department. Liu Yun did not expect that Mr. Shang would actually apply for this qualification for himself. Okay, Liu Yun was filled with joy, thinking only of performing well in a virtual true martial world tomorrow. The next day, Liu Hong took Liu Yun to the true martial department building the city. When they got here, Mr. Shang Yangming was already here. Moreover, at this time, the person in charge of the true martial department was receiving Shang Yangming. After Shang Yangming saw Liu Yun and his son, he immediately turned around, waved to Liu Yun, and said, "Yunner, come here quickly." Liu Yun trotted forward and said, "Hello, hello, Grandpa Shang. That's right, I haven't seen you for a while, and you've gotten a lot stronger." Shang Yangming patted his shoulder happily. Then, Shang Yangming said to him again, "This is the general of the true martial department that built the city, Major General Wang Jun. You can call him Uncle Wang." Liu Yun looked at the person in charge. He looked in his 40s, had a Chinese character face, and a mustache. His eyes looked at Liu Yun with a bit of curiosity. But after just looking at it, he showed a hint of surprise. He asked Liu Hong, "You have such a boy in the Liu family. Why didn't you tell me earlier?" "Well, didn't I want to give you a surprise for the general then? I plan to bring him over to see you after he graduates from elementary school," Liu Hong said awkwardly. Liu Yun shouted obediently, "Hello, Uncle Wang." He also looked at Wang Zhen's attributes just now. Wang Zhen's attributes were much higher than his father's. Wang Zhen, spirit, body, human physique, 277 soul, 32 strength, 355 agility, 382 comprehension, 100. Although his father's strength has improved a lot in recent years, he is still not as strong as Wang Zhen. "Good boy. Your talent is good. When you go to the virtual true martial world, don't hide your clumsiness. Remember one thing. What the country needs most is genius. The more talented you are, the more benefits the country will give you. Before the imperial capital, a genius. He had the strength of the martial king at the age of 8. Now, he is the head of the Kyushu True Martial Department. So kid, do you understand? Wang Zhan's serious words just wanted to tell Liu Yun that there was no need to hide his clumsiness. What this world needs most is genius. Show your genius in front of the country, and no one will harm you, but will only give you more resources. After all, the attacks of wild beasts are becoming more and more fierce now, and humans have not even figured out where the wild beasts come from. At such a critical juncture, humans naturally have to work together to cultivate masters as much as possible. Only those who are anti-human and who only want to destroy human beings and the world will think of geniuses who harm human beings at this time. Liu Yun nodded and said solemnly, "Thank you, Uncle Wang, for reminding me. I understand. Come with me now," Wang Zhan said, and took them to the room where the virtual true martial world was located. This room is very spacious, with a virtual true martial world entry helmet placed in front of it, and a tall machine. This helmet is like a gaming helmet. Wearing it, you can enter the virtual world. Chapter 21 Give Father a little shock with Wang Zhan's help. Liu Yun stepped forward and put on his helmet. As he put on his helmet, a prompt came immediately. Reading data. After a while, Liu Yun found a detailed data panel appearing in front of him. Liu Yun, 6.5 years old physique, 145 soul, 73 strength, 121 agility, 142 comprehensive evaluation. Martial venerable strength. Liu Yun looked at these data and was shocked, because these data are exactly the same as the data seen on the system panel. The machines in this virtual true martial world are indeed not simple. How can I read it so accurately? At the same time, this comprehensive evaluation surprised Liu Yun even more. It turns out that my strength is equivalent to martial venerable. He now also has some understanding of martial Dao's realm. They are martial artist, martial master, Wuzong, martial venerable, martial king, martial emperor. After his data was read, Liu Yun felt as if he had arrived in a real space. It was on the edge of a hillside, and not far away, there were several deer eating grass. The antlers of these deer were like sickles. After sensing Liu Yun, they instantly turned their heads to look at Liu Yun, and then rushed towards him in unison. At this time, Liu Yun suddenly received a reminder. Using the virtual true martial world for the first time, triggering random tasks, successfully defeating 10 or more kinds of beasts in the virtual true martial world, gaining plus 10 comprehension. Liu Yun was overjoyed when he heard about this mission. Comprehension again. Moreover, after this understanding increases, it will not be read. I won't let my father and others see such weird things. Liu Yun was not afraid at all when he saw the deer charging towards him. Not to mention that I am not afraid of my own strength. Even if I am really weak, this is a virtual world, so I am afraid that death is nothing more than exiting the virtual true martial world. Liu Yun directly used Wujikwen and attacked the deer. Although this deer has a pair of sharp antlers, it must be able to hurt someone. Liu Yun's agility was extremely fast, and the deer's attack seemed very slow in his eyes. He easily avoided it and punched the deer. The deer, which was 3 or 4 times bigger than him, was directly knocked down by his punch. After Liu Yun felt the gap between himself and Liu, he became more proactive. When Liu Yun attacked the savage beast in the virtual true martial world, outside, Liu Hong and the others saw Liu Yun's data on the display screen, and they all froze in place. The 3 of them cannot see the fighting in the virtual true martial world. However, they can see the original scan data. It was hard for them to believe that this data was seen on a child less than 7 years old. Wang Zhan told Liu Yun before about the legendary story of the true martial minister and the strength of the 8-year-old martial king, just to inspire Liu Yun. He didn't expect that Liu Yun was on par with the minister when he was a child. According to Liu Yun's rate of change, it is possible for him to reach the strength of a martial king at the age of 8. Wang Zhan looked at Liu Hong and said excitedly, "Liu Hong, You gave birth to a good son. I never thought that we would have such a genius in building a city. I thought this kid was extraordinary, but I didn't dare to think he could be so powerful. Shang Yongming sighed with emotion. When he was able to invest in Liu Yun like that, he felt that Liu Yun would be extraordinary in the future. However, he never expected that it would be so unusual. As for Liu Hong, he was already numb at this time. It was as if I was dreaming. The joy in his heart was beyond words. He had always believed that his son was a genius among geniuses, but when he saw his son's current strength, he was still frightened. Martial Venerable, moreover, based on his son's speed, he believed that he would definitely be able to reach the Martial King realm before he was 10 years old. He is still just the Martial King, impacting the martial arts emperor world. My son's strength will make him famous in JoJo and Blue Star in the future. I didn't expect Yunner to be so talented, huh? At this time, Liu Hong didn't care that the people in front of him were his bosses and old bosses. He still couldn't help but laugh. As a father, no one hopes that his son will succeed. How could he hold back after seeing what his son was capable of? Not only is his strength martial venerable, but his soul, have you noticed? 73's soul, Shang Yongming reminded. This 7-star soul controller? If the guys from Xianzhou find out about this, they will come to rob him. Wang Jin murmured. This can't waste his talent. He has to tell the people of Xianzhou about this. If he asks them for skills, he must give Liu Yun the best soul to practice skills. Shang Yongming said solemnly. What if Xianzhou wants Liu Yun to go to them? Wang Jin asked. It's up to Liu Yun to choose. If Liu Yun wants to go, let him go. If he doesn't want to, no one in Xianzhou will take him away by force. Shang Yongming said solemnly. Okay, I'll contact the people over there later. Wang Jin said. Liu Yun, who is in the virtual true martial world, does not know what is happening outside. He was currently busy fighting these savage beasts that he had only seen on TV. At this time, he was fighting a fierce tiger. This tiger was different from ordinary tigers. It also had a pair of wings under its ribs. Not only is it powerful, it can also fly into the air on its wings and attack downwards from the air. However, although its power is similar to Liu Yun's, those boxing skills Liu Yun practiced were not in vain. Coupled with the strength of the fist, the power of Liu Yun's punch cannot be reflected in numbers. After a fierce battle with the tiger, Liu Yun successfully knocked it to the ground. After killing this fierce tiger, the environment around Liu Yun changed again. This time, 7 red wolves appeared. There was actually a cluster of flames burning at the tails of these red wolves. With a sweep of their tails, flames came towards Liu Yun, a ball of flame forming a fireball. Holy crap, there's magic, right? No wonder the war between humans and beasts is so difficult. Liu Yun complained and quickly dodged. Liu Yun relied on his extremely high agility to dodge easily. But this also reminded Liu Yun of something. That means I need to consider looking for speed-related skills in the future. Otherwise, if you encounter this type of savage beast, even stronger than these, you won't have enough speed to get close. Liu Yun also saw the weaknesses of these red wolves very clearly. They were fast and could attack with fireballs from a distance. It's like a flexible mage, but if he gets close, he can knock him down with one punch. Liu Yun moved around under the fireball siege of 7 red wolves, getting close to one and finishing off the other. Each time one is solved, the pressure decreases a little. After the last red wolf was killed by him with one punch, the surrounding environment changed again. This time it was a field of snow. In front is a snow-white python. It spat out the letter, looked at Liu Yun, and instantly raised its head, overlooking the small Liu Yun. Liu Yun looked at him without any fear, but thought in his heart, if you defeat this savage beast, you will be able to defeat 10 kinds of savage beasts. Chapter 22, Immortal Boat. This big white python straightened up at this time and looked down at Liu Yun. At first glance, Liu Yun can be swallowed up in one bite. It suddenly swooped down, opened its mouth, and attacked Liu Yun. When it was about to rush towards him, Liu Yun dodged suddenly, dodged Shiko's attack, and punched the snake 7 inches away. This punch caused the white python's body to twist violently, and it looked very painful. However, it is also more exposed, with its long tail sweeping away like an iron rod. Liu Yun could not dodge either side, so he had to protect his face with his arms and receive the blow forcefully. The snake's tail swept heavily on his arms. Even though he practiced the immortal diamond art, he was still in pain and his arms were numb. The body was knocked back more than 10 meters, leaving 2 marks on the snow. At this time, White Python took advantage of the victory and continued to attack Liu Yun. It seems like this is the only way. Liu Yun didn't panic at all and quickly controlled his thoughts, and 2 stones instantly flew up in the snow. Under Liu Yun's control, these 2 stones flew straight into the White Python's eyes. The speed was so fast that the White Python didn't even have time to react. 2 stones sank into its eyes, and their eyes turned into 2 bloody holes. The White Python roared angrily and attacked forward indiscriminately. After Liu Yun saw the power of the stone attack on its eyes, he also realized that he had underestimated the power of his soul. Ever since, he once again manipulated a stone on the ground. Under his control, this stone was like a bullet, attacking directly towards the 7-inch position of the White Python. Although this beast is somewhat different from ordinary snakes, it is stronger. But Liu Yun felt that since it was a snake, it also had the weaknesses of snakes. At first, I punched it 7 inches away, and it didn't seem to feel well. I saw the stone attacking the snake's 7 inches like a bullet. The stone directly penetrated the snake's 7 inches. The White Python fell to the ground, rolling in pain, its tail whipping randomly, and the snow on the ground was splashed everywhere. Liu Yun looked at the snowflakes flying in the air and looked at the struggling White Python indifferently. He silently counted down the days to his death. Sure enough, just a moment later, the White Python collapsed completely and could no longer move. At this time, Liu Yun immediately received a reminder that the task was completed. Mission completed. Comprehension +10. The prompt ends, and the surrounding environment changes again. It turned into a barren desert with extremely high temperatures, making Liu Yun feel like he was back in the hot summer. Suddenly, the sand flowed, and a giant monster rushed out from under the sand. This monster looks like a cow, but it is covered with long hair. These hairs are more than 1 meter long. After it came out, it lay in the sand with its eyes glowing red. Moo! It looked up to the sky and roared, and the sound spread all over the world. Liu Yun felt his brain buzzing. The next moment, his consciousness was blurred, and he woke up directly from the virtual true martial world. After Liu Yun woke up, he took off his helmet. When he came down, he noticed that his father and the others were looking at him with a burning gaze. Huh? Dad, your eyes scare me. Liu Yun said, dumbfounded. Huh? Shang Yongming laughed heartily and said, You are scared, but we are very happy. You must have defeated many beasts in the virtual true martial world. You really made us wait. Logically speaking, it is impossible for an ordinary martial venerable to train in the virtual true martial world for such a long time. Shang Yongming and others believe that Liu Yun can train in it for so long. This should be related to the strength of his soul. After all, his soul is the same as that of the 7-star soul controller. With such strength, it is normal to be able to persist in it for such a long time. Grandpa Shang, Uncle Wang, do I need to do anything else now? Liu Yun asked again. There is nothing you need to do for the time being. We will find whatever martial arts you want to practice for you. In addition, you don't need to go to Xinghai Elementary School. We will give you a better learning environment. Wang Zhun said solemnly. I have to go to Xinghai Elementary School. I think it would be good to study there. As for the martial arts I want to practice, does true martial have body-based martial arts? I want this. Liu Yun said seriously. How could this be possible without going to Xinghai Primary School? After all, I still have important tasks at Xinghai Elementary School. Do you still want to go there? That's fine. We respect your opinion. As for the body movements and martial arts you want, that's no problem. Come with me, and I'll take you to get it. Wang Zhen said seriously. Thank you, Uncle Wang. Liu Yun said seriously. By the way, Yunner, we also notified Xianzhou and asked them to give you soul-based skills. However, they will probably recruit you to join Xianzhou, and someone from them will probably come to find you. Shang Yongming reminded. Immortal boat? Never heard of it. Liu Yun said in confusion. Liu Yun knows the true martial department in the ninth inning. But this was the first time I heard about Xianzhou. But judging from Shang Yangming's words, this Xianzhou should also be an organization. Moreover, it may be an organization related to soul cultivation. Could it be that Xianzhou is an organization composed of soul control masters? Shang Yangming saw that Liu Yun didn't know, so he said to him, "Let's talk while walking." So, several people followed Wang Zhen to get the exercises for Liu Yun. On the way there, Shang Yangming began to tell Liu Yun about the ferry boat. Xianzhou is indeed an organization of soul control masters, but their composition is not limited to soul control masters. The soul controller's use of souls is far inferior to that of the immortal boat. There is a kind of person in Xianzhou named Yinshan. They were once extremely powerful soul control masters. Later, their bodies decayed, but their souls remained. Their powerful souls inhabited the man of steel, forming a new person. Such people are called Yinshan. Shang Yangming and others didn't know much about the Yin gods. They just knew about their existence. All I know is that they are powerful and their methods are mysterious and unpredictable. But more, only those who enter the ferry boat can know. After all, Xianzhou is a relatively secretive organization compared to the true martial department. After Liu Yun learned this, he was indeed extremely curious about this immortal boat. However, it is impossible for him to go to Xianzhou now, because for him, the most important thing is to continue his liver attributes in school. When you grow up and graduate, you can consider adding these tissue liver attributes. As for which organization to join, only later can we know. While chatting and walking, not long after, they arrived at the secret book room. In this secret room, there are various techniques. There are not only body skills here, but also boxing skills, palm skills, sword skills, etc. Wang Zhen also said directly to Liu Yun, "Not only the body skills, but all the skills here. If you need them, you can come to me at any time. You can practice these." "Thank you, Uncle Wang. I will practice my body skills now. I will come back to you if I need it later," Liu Yundao said. He also thought about it, and then he would practice other techniques after he had completely mastered those boxing techniques. But Shinfa is the most urgent need at present. Chapter 23, Martial Tao and the Soul Controller Level. There are 3 systematic books on body movements and exercises here, from basic ones to earth level ones. You can take them with you, Wang Zhen said, pointing to the books on the bookshelf in front of him. "Thank you, Uncle Wang," Liu Yun said gratefully. Wang Zhen took out the 3 books above and handed them to Liu Yun. After Liu Yun reached out and took the 3 books, Wang Zhen turned to Liu Hong and said, "Liu Hong, although these books are for Liu Yun, you can also read them." "Thank you, General." Liu Hong quickly thanked him. He has taken advantage of his precious son. Liu Hong has naturally practiced this movement technique. However, he only practiced the first 2 books. He had to apply for the 3rd one if he wanted to practice. Of course, you can apply if you want. It's just that he is currently impacting the martial arts world. So he's focusing on the new boxing techniques he has applied for. After Liu Yun got the book, he didn't stay at the true martial department anymore. He left here with his father and got in the car. Liu Hong asked curiously, "Son, you really gave me a big surprise." The minister was an 8-year-old martial king back then. You're now more than 6 years old and a martial venerable. You will be determined in the future. No worse than the minister. Martial venerable? Dad, how are the realms of martial Tao divided? Liu Yun asked curiously. When you entered the virtual true martial world, you must have noticed your various attributes. The 3 attributes of physical fitness, strength, and agility are used to judge the martial artist realm. The average value of the 3 attributes is between 11 and 20, which is martial artist. Between 21 and 50, it is martial master. Between 51 and 100, it is martial master. Between 101 and 200, it is martial venerable. 201 to 300, between 301 and 500, it is martial king. Between 301 and 500, it is martial emperor. Between 501 and 1000, it is martial saint. As for the soul attribute, it is the standard for determining a soul controller. Between 11 and 20, it is a 1-star soul controller. Between 21 and 30, it is a 2-star soul controller. For every 10 points of soul power added, 1 star is added. His father Lu Hong explained in detail to Liu Yun the division of Martial Dao's realm and the division of Soul Control Master's realm. After hearing this, Liu Yun understood. He knew that a little improvement in the soul would be a big improvement, but he didn't expect it to be so big. His current soul controller level is even stronger than Martial Dao's. He also felt this in the virtual, true martial world. At that time, it was difficult for him to fight against the white python with his Martial Dao, but he was able to easily kill it with his soul power. This is because in that virtual, true martial world, he cannot use the hidden weapon his mother prepared for him. Otherwise, it will be even more powerful. Dad, what level is the 7-star soul controller equivalent to the martial artist? Liu Yun asked curiously. Martial Emperor 1 and 2-star soul masters do not have much practical ability, just like martial artists. Only 3 stars can be considered a qualitative change. 3 stars are equivalent to martial master, 4 stars are equivalent to Wuzong, and 5 stars are equivalent to martial venerable. 6 stars correspond to the martial king, and 7 stars correspond to the martial emperor. Lu Hong explained patiently. That's it, Liu Yun said, and then he had a certain judgment on his own strength. By the way, after next year, you could go to school by yourself without your mother picking you up. Is that okay? Lu Hong asked. No problem. What could be wrong with Liu Yun? The only thing that makes him inferior to his father now is that he has never really fought against wild beasts. In terms of strength, he is now stronger than his father and mother. What's so scary about him going to school by himself? That's good, Lu Hong said. The reason why Lu Hong said this was because of the advice given by Shang Yangming and others. Is Liu Yun strong now? Very strong. However, he lacks actual combat. If you want him to have a chance of actual combat, it is necessary to let him act alone. People in the true martial department knew that Liu Yun was powerful, but others did not. Others only know that Liu Yun is the son of a senior colonel, and they will think that he has a certain talent, but they will never think that he is a martial venerable, a 7-star soul control master. When those people hiding in the dark see him alone, will they not be able to help but take action? Yes, and there will be many people. As for how Liu Yun would treat those attacking enemies, they could also see Liu Yun's character and what kind of person he was. Liu Yun didn't know this. He just believed that there were 2 advantages to not having his mother accompany him. First, I'm relatively free. Second, the mother can also meditate and practice with peace of mind. In this world where we are fighting against savage beasts and antisocial villains, being strong is the most important thing. In recent years, although I haven't been as troubled as ordinary children, however, it still delayed my mother's practice time. Ever since he could see his parents' attributes, his mother's soul had been at 52 points. In the past 6 years, his mother's soul had only increased to 54 points. The journey went smoothly, and when I got home, my mother had already prepared dinner. Her father and mother told her that she would not need to pick up Liu Yun from now on, and she was a little confused at first. After learning about Liu Yun's strength, her eyes widened with disbelief on her face. As a 5-star soul control master, she knows very well how difficult it is to improve soul attributes. She never imagined that her precious son would be so much taller than her. Her son is so strong, so what should she worry about? He readily agreed and said that he must spend more time practicing in the future so as not to hold back his husband and son in the future. The family finished dinner happily, and from the next day, Liu Yun began to practice the body movements given by Wang Zhen. These 3 techniques are called Feng Feng Step, Fengxing Step, and Zaiyu, respectively. Among the 3 body techniques, Zaiyu is the most powerful one, which is what Wang Zhen calls Earth-level Kung Fu. The classification of skills is divided according to the black and yellow colors of heaven and earth. Earth level is already relatively strong. Here in Zhucheng, there are very few heaven-level techniques, and there are no heaven-level body techniques at all. If so, Wang Zhen would not be stingy with Liu Yun at all. Liu Yun practiced Wind Step first and showed Zaiyu to his father first. When practicing Wind Step, Liu Yun discovered that the proficiency of this technique was 10,000 points. After practicing at home for a few days, the results of the exam were notified. On the day when the results were released, Liu Yun received a prompt from the system. Mission completed, Soul +3. This task prompt came, which meant that Liu Yun's score was the first in the grade. Naturally, Liu Yun would not be surprised by this result. This kind of task is completely free of attributes. On the second day, after getting his results, Liu Yun practiced Kung Fu at home, as usual. Suddenly, I heard footsteps outside, and after a while, someone knocked on the door. Liu Yun walked from the courtyard to the door and found that there were two people coming over, a man and a woman, both wearing professional suits. They looked like two big living people, but they gave Liu Yun a cold feeling. Liu Yun looked at them and was shocked when he saw their information. Zhang Yang, God Physique, 500 Soul, 135 Strength, 500 Agility, 500 Comprehension, 130 Zhang Qiu, God Physique, 500 Soul, 134 Strength, 500 Agility, 500 Comprehension, 130. Chapter 24. The benefits of Xianzhou. Seeing the attributes of these two people, Liu Yun was indeed frightened for a moment. It's not because the other party is very strong. Is the other party strong? Of course he is stronger than Mr. Shang. But what is even more terrifying is that except for the attribute of soul, the two of them have completely the same attributes. Liu Yun had previously known that the Yin god of Xianzhou was the human soul that resided in the body of mechanical creations. At first glance, these two people looked like ordinary people, but the same data made Liu Yun certain that there was something more than a bunch of machines underneath this human skin. Liu Yun has been in this world for more than 6 years. He just thinks that there are powerful martial Dao and soul control masters in this world. However, he didn't pay much attention to the technology of this world. Now it seems that the technology in this world should be more terrifying than that in my previous life. However, Liu Yun calmed down after a brief shock and asked the two of them, "Who are you two? Are you here to find someone?" Although Liu Yun saw the origin of the two people, he could not tell them directly. "You are Liu Yun, right? We are here to find you," the man Zhang Yang said in a calm tone. "It's me. Are you from Xianzhou?" Liu Yun looked like he suddenly realized. At this time, the movement outside also attracted the attention of Liu Yun's mother. Zhao Qing quickly walked out. When she saw the two people in suits and leather shoes, she instantly guessed their identities. "Are you two from Xianzhou?" "Yuner, let you two in quickly," Zhao Qing said quickly to Liu Yun. If it were not for his precious son, Liu Yun would not be able to be so calm when meeting the big shot from Xianzhou. After all, Xianzhou is the sacred land that they, the Yin gods, most long for. Of course, without Liu Yun, the people in Xianzhou would not have had any contact with them. Especially Ancient. "Uncle, Aunt, please come in." Liu Yun politely invited Zhang Yang and the two in. Liu Yun estimated that these two people might be brother and sister. After all, the names were so similar that it couldn't be a coincidence. "Thank you." Zhang Yang actually thanked him politely, and then the brother and sister walked into the Liu family's courtyard. After entering the courtyard, Zhang Qiu closed the door behind his back. Then he said to Liu Yun and the others, "Let's talk in this courtyard." "Okay." Liu Yun did not force the other party to come in. Mother Zhao Qing looked at it and said nothing. She just watched silently. She had faith in her son, and she believed he could handle it. Just watch from the sidelines. If he really doesn't notice any pitfalls, just remind him. Zhang Yang didn't talk nonsense. He said directly to Liu Yun, "We heard the news from the True Martial Department and learned that your soul has reached 73. We need to verify it. If it is proven, Xianzhou can provide you with cultivation skills." "Law, how do I need to prove it to you?" Liu Yun asked curiously. "It's easy," Zhang Qiu said, taking out a needle as black as ink in his hand. The needle was about 10 centimeters long. She placed the needle flat on her hand and said to Liu Yun, "Try to manipulate it." "Good." Liu Yun nodded. He originally thought this was too simple. There is skepticism as to whether this can be proven. But at the moment when his soul interpreted it to control it, he suddenly understood the power of this thing. When I controlled it with my own thoughts, it actually felt extremely heavy. He had to concentrate completely to mobilize it. After controlling it, the needle slowly floated from the palm of her hand. Liu Yun moved his mind slightly and made the needle fly forward. Under his control, the needle circled in the air and then calmly returned to Zhang Qiu's hand. However, Liu Yun's forehead was already sweating. Liu Yun asked, "Is this okay?" "Okay, quite okay." Zhang Yang suddenly smiled. Zhang Yang then asked Liu Yun, "My child, are you willing to join Xianzhou?" "Join Xianzhou. We can give you whatever training resources you want. If you need to learn, we will also find the best teacher for you, including Martial Dao's teacher." Zhang Yang's words were full of temptation. If Liu Yun hadn't had a mission in elementary school, he might have been tempted, but for the sake of his primary school assignment, he had no choice but to refuse. "Sorry, I want to finish studying at Shanghai Primary School for a few years before talking." Liu Yun seriously refused. Zhang Yang paused for a moment, then said with a smile, "Do you want to finish elementary school at Shanghai Primary School? That's okay. We respect your choice. However, I hope you'll get a place in our Xianzhou. When you leave the school in the future, you will give priority come to Xianzhou. Of course, after you agree, we will not only give you enough benefits, your family will also be able to enjoy the highest level of family benefits from our Xianzhou." Zhang Yang was determined to recruit Liu Yun. Originally, they had thought about it before they came. If Liu Yun is really the soul power of 73, then no matter how many benefits it takes, he must be recruited to join Xianzhou. The black needle they prepared was not a special needle. To mobilize it, at least 72 points of soul power were needed. What they thought was that Liu Yun only needed to adjust the injection, and he would be considered qualified. Because with 73 points of soul power, it can only be mobilized, but cannot be mobilized to fly in the air. However, they never expected that Liu Yun would not only control it to fly, but also fly around in the air. Even if they don't have a machine to detect the data, they can easily judge at this time that Liu Yun's soul power exceeds 73. If you apply for a quota, your family members can enjoy the benefits. Liu Yun asked. "That's right." Zhang Qiu nodded, and then elaborated further. "Xianzhou can provide resources for martial arts training and soul control masters. Although your family members cannot get the best resources like you, in Kyushu, they are definitely the best." Zhang Qiu clearly saw that Liu Yun was a little moved, so he elaborated like this. After Liu Yun heard this, his heart was indeed moved. However, he further said, "After I graduate from elementary school, I may go to an ordinary school to study in junior high school or high school. If Xianzhou has any tasks, I may only be able to work part-time. Is that okay?" Liu Yun estimates that after graduating from elementary school, subsequent tasks will also be triggered in junior high schools and high schools. Therefore, he will definitely choose to go to school when the time comes. But, as he said, he could work part-time. For example, right now, will it have a big impact whether he goes to primary school or not? It's actually not very big. He just needs to ensure that he can be the first in his grade when he takes the exam. Given his current situation, if he doesn't go to school for a few days, the school's teachers probably won't say anything to him. After hearing this, Zhang Yang said straightforwardly, "These are all minor problems." "Okay, then I promise you." Liu Yun no longer hesitated at this time. The conditions provided by Xianzhou are impressive enough, and they can help their parents, so why not do it? Chapter 25, Flying Knife from Beyond the Sky, Soul of Tianshu. After Liu Yun agreed, Zhang and Yang were overjoyed. Zhang Yang smiled and Liu Yun said, "Welcome to join our ferry boat. Zioku, given the gift of our ferry boat." "Yeah." Zhang Qiu nodded and took out a box in his hand. She opened the box and saw a book quietly placed in a box. Next to the book, there is a flying knife with shining silver light. This flying knife is like a willow leaf, as thin as a cicada's wing. But the cold light on the blade proved that it was extraordinary. On the edge of the blade, there's another one that just fits the scabbard. The scabbard is also obviously not made of ordinary material. Zhang Yang explained to Liu Yun at this time, "This book teaches you how to control all things, and at the same time, it can also slightly improve your soul. You should have practiced this soul meditation method. We won't give you that technique. This knife is a special flying knife made by Xianzhou. There are only 6 of them in Xianzhou. This one is given to you. If you encounter anti-human organizations like the Shadow Organization and brutal beasts, you can use this knife to kill countless people." Amnesty. "Well, I am practicing this soul meditation method." Liu Yun nodded. "That's good. Also bring this with you." If you encounter any trouble, show it, and it will save you some trouble, Zhang Yang said and handed Liu Yun a card. Liu Yun took it and saw that it was his ID. Name, Liu Yun. Nationality, Chinese. Position, Xianzhou Patrol Division. Job number, 007. There are also some stripes and patterns on this. These stripes and patterns are proof of the ferry boat. Others cannot imitate it, and no one dares to imitate it. Liu Yun asked curiously, if I don't agree to join you, wouldn't you prepare these documents in vain? This certificate has not been activated yet. We need to wait until we return before notifying people to activate it. Zhang Yang said. That's it. Zhang Yang's explanation made Liu Yun a little embarrassed. How could someone from an organization like theirs fail to consider these little things? Then, Liu Yun took the box that Zhang Qiu took out. At this time, Liu Yun's mother said, You too, the matter is settled. Let's go sit at home. We appreciate the kindness, but it's not necessary. We also need to go back as soon as possible. By the way, does Liu Yun have his own mobile phone? If not, buy him one so that we can contact him. Zhang Yang told Zhao King explain. We don't have one now, but we will buy him one as soon as possible. Zhao King said, Well, this is my number. Liu Yun, after you get your phone, add me on WeChat. As for the benefits for family members, a dedicated person will deliver them in a few days. Zhang Yang said, calling Liu Yun handed over a business card. After Liu Yun took the business card, Zhang Yang and the others left without staying any longer. After Zhang Yang and the others left, Zhao King looked at Liu Yun with some worry and asked, Yunner, you will need to work part-time while studying. Will you be too tired? Don't worry, Mom. It won't happen. I still feel bored day by day. When Xianzhou really gives me some part-time jobs, I'll be happy. Liu Yun said with a smile. Mom will take you to buy a mobile phone tomorrow. Zhao King said with a smile. Seeing what Liu Yun had said, she naturally didn't have anything to worry about. Well, Mom, I'm going to take a look at these things they gave me first. After Liu Yun finished speaking, he went back to the house with the box in his arms. Zhao King looked at her son's leaving figure and smiled happily. She had always heard that one person achieved enlightenment, a chicken and a dog ascended to heaven, but she never thought that such a thing would happen to her. Because of Liu Yun's talent, they were able to enjoy the benefits of Xianzhou, which was the envy of many people. In Liu Yun's house, Liu Yun first carefully picked up the flying knife. He placed the flying knife flat in the palm of his hand. He actually had the feeling that it was a living thing. Liu Yun moved his mind slightly and began to control it. It was seen floating into the air, and then it flew rapidly in the air, flying several times in a row. When it flies in the air, you can faintly hear the sound of it breaking through the air. At this moment, Liu Yun suddenly received a prompt. Obtained a flying knife from the sky, which can be soul-bound. Do you want to bind it? Huh? Flying knife from the sky. Liu Yun was stunned. The material of this flying knife came from outside the world. After all, Zhang Yang also said before that this was specially made by Xianzhou, and there were 6 of them in total. Fine. Liu Yun muttered something silently in his heart. The next moment, Liu Yun felt as if he was in a trance. This feeling is like the sleepy feeling he felt at the end of his practice when he used the concentration mode of the student profession. Binding this flying knife actually consumes so much. After binding, Liu Yun found that he seemed to have some sense of the flying knife. At the same time, he also sensed the origin of this knife. This knife came from a meteor that fell from the sky. As for the origin of this meteor, it seems a bit strange. It seemed as if it was suddenly teleported to the sky above the blue star from a distant place. It was suddenly transmitted, and then a whole piece fell down and hit the blue star, forming a meteor. All the ores contained in this meteor were taken away by the people of Xianzhou. Some are made into flying knives, and some are made into that black needle. After Liu Yun bound it, he couldn't take it into his body like in Xinxia novels. However, it seems to be easier to control. The consumption of souls seems to be much less. Liu Yun put the flying knife into the scabbard and put it away. Then he silently picked up the book with its name written on the cover. Tianshu Soul Chapter. Liu Yun opened the book and checked the contents, and found that the contents were very obscure. Just reading one sentence takes me a long time to think about it. At this moment, a reminder suddenly came. Discover the ancient Jojo book, Tinshu Soul Chapter. Completely master it. Soul +5, and obtain Tinshu Body Chapter. Soul Chapter, Body Chapter. Liu Yun instantly felt that this technique was not simple anymore. Ancient strange books. It seems that the ancient times of this world are also very different from the earth in my previous life. The soul chapter is about the soul, and the body chapter should be related to martial Tao. Even Liu Yun doesn't know. Does Tinshu T chapter still exist in Kyushu? Has anyone who practices martial Tao obtained it? Or did the people in Xianzhou get it? I will ask Zhang Yang after I contact him tomorrow. Liu Yun thought to himself. Then, Liu Yun began to read the book seriously. If his current understanding had not been greatly improved, it would have taken much longer for Liu Yun to read and understand this book. I read it all day today, and Liu Yun only read 1/3 of the book. You know, this exercise is different from other books. It doesn't have many words. For other previous exercises, Liu Yun could basically figure them out by studying them carefully in an afternoon, and he could practice them the next day. But for this one, I guess I'll have to continue working on it tomorrow. Chapter 26, Welfare the next day. Her mother, Zhao King, took Liu Yun to buy a new mobile phone. After using her ID card to apply for a card, she helped Liu Yun register a WeChat account. After that, she handed the phone to Liu Yun and asked Liu Yun to add a post and post on WeChat. Liu Yun didn't know whether Zhang Yang had nothing to do or whether his job was to wait for news about him. Liu Yun Kai added, and Zhang Yang immediately agreed. After Zhang Yang agreed, he sent a message. Liu Yun, the benefits prepared by Xianzhou for you will be delivered in 2 days. Thanks. Liu Yun thanked him first, and then asked him, Uncle Zhang, may I ask if there are other chapters of the Tinshu Soul chapter you gave me? You are very perceptive. Yes, in addition to the Soul chapter, Tinshu is said to have a body chapter for martial arts training. However, the body chapter has not been found yet, so for the time being, there's only this soul chapter. Zhang Yang responded quickly. Seeing his reply, Liu Yun couldn't help but think that in this case, if he got this article, he could consider giving it to his father or someone he trusts in the future. After that, Liu Yun stopped chatting with Zhang Yang, returned home, and continued to study the soul of Tinshu. It took a day for Liu Yun to finally fully understand Tinshu's soul chapter. After understanding it, the proficiency of this technique also appeared on my dashboard. It doesn't matter if you don't look at this proficiency. Liu Yun was shocked when he saw it. Tinshu's soul chapter, 0/1,100,000. This is the one that requires the highest proficiency among all the techniques he has acquired. I don't know if I can gain soul attributes by practicing this technique. Liu Yun murmured in his heart. This technique mainly teaches the use of the soul and also mentions how to make the soul immortal. Yes, when people die, they leave behind their souls. Such is the case with those Yin gods in Xianzhou. Their bodies are mechanical bodies built by Xianzhou. When their bodies decay, their souls escape and enter the mechanical bodies. However, there are prerequisites for keeping the body from decay and the soul from immortality. That is, you have to have a soul of 110 or above, and the practice of this technique reaches the basic accomplishment level to have a chance. Just 110 soul points is enough to screen out many soul control masters. After all, it is extremely difficult for a soul control master to achieve a soul level of 100, let alone a soul level of 110. People like the Zhangyang brothers and sisters are rare among soul control masters. From now on, Liu Yun will arrange some time to practice Tinshu Soul Chapter. Of course, while practicing this, Liu Yun will not leave boxing techniques, such as 8 extremities boxing, behind. His current strength is at the level of a soul control master, far exceeding that of martial Tao. I can't slack off even more on martial Tao. After practicing for 2 days, Liu Yun discovered that practicing Tinshu Soul Chapter has not dropped any attributes. I don't know if it's because I'm not proficient enough or if I can't drop it at all. At noon that day, Liu Yunqing had just finished a set of boxing and was preparing to take a rest when someone suddenly delivered something to his door. The person who delivered the goods to your door was none other than someone from Xianzhou. He placed a large box outside Liu's house and waited until Liu Yun came to sign for it before leaving. The box looked like a boxy lockbox. However, This box is not opened by any password. To open it, it's simple. Swipe your card. What was swiped was Liu Yun's Xianzhou ID. Liu Yun first brought it home. The weight of this box was really heavy. Liu Yun estimated that it weighed about 100 kilograms. However, this 100-kilogram thing was as easy as lifting a small basket in Liu Yun's hands. After Liu Yun brought the box into the house, his mother Zhao Qing also came over. Yun'er, the goods sent by Xianzhou. Looking at the texture of the box, Zhao Qing could tell it belonged to Xianzhou even if she hadn't gone out to listen to the situation outside. Yes. Liu Yun nodded, then took out his ID and scratched it in front of the box. I saw that the box opened automatically in all directions. After opening the box, Liu Yun saw that the inside was divided into 3 spaces. On top of the largest space was a note. Liu Yun picked it up and looked at it. On it were the simple 3 words, Liu Yun Shou. The other 2 smaller spaces are written Liu Hong Shou and Zhao Qing's Ho. Mom, take this of yours, Liu Yun said to Zhao Qing. Yeah. Zhao Qing was naturally not polite to her son. After all, the benefits arranged by Xianzhou, the benefits she and her husband had given to their son, would not be of any help to him. When Zhao Qing was taking out her things, she suddenly murmured in surprise, Is this the Holy Soul Stone? Xianzhou actually gave such a gem. It is indeed a fairy boat. Mom, what is the Holy Soul Stone? Liu Yun asked curiously. Although Liu Yun reads a lot, his understanding of the world cannot be compared to his parents who have lived for more than 30 years. The Holy Soul Stone is used to assist meditation. With the help of the Holy Soul Stone, the speed of practicing the skills of a soul control master will be greatly improved. The Holy Soul Stone is a must-have treasure for soul control masters. I didn't expect Xianzhou to be so generous. Actually gave me a piece, Zhao Qing said with emotion. That's it. Then my mother will be able to practice the soul meditation method faster in the future. Liu Yun was also sincerely happy for his mother, because he heard from his mother that she had increased her soul power by 20 points by practicing this soul meditation method. This means that my mother's soul meditation method has not yet been fully practiced, because when he practices this, his soul naturally grows, not falls. In other words, others will experience the same growth if they practice this. According to his current understanding, 500 points of proficiency increases 1 point of soul. This technique is fully mastered and the soul attribute is improved by 40 points. Liu Yun also began to look through his own things. He also found a Holy Soul Stone here. In addition to the Holy Soul Stone, Liu Yun found that he also had some potions. There are instructions on these potions, what they do, and how much it is best to drink each time. In addition to these potions, Liu Yun also saw 5 beast pills. However, the energy contained in this beast pill seems to be more than what Bai Xiaoyu's mother gave him. The moment he saw these 5 beast pills, Liu Yun could declare in his heart, this beast elixir is the most powerful benefit. With this, you'll have a clue about your evolution. In addition to the beast elixir, there are also some ores that Liu Yun cannot understand. When Liu Yun was about to ask his mother, he suddenly received news from Zhang Yang. Zhang Yang, you should have received the benefits distributed. You probably don't know what those ores are used for, so I will send you all the information about those ores. Zhang Yang, document, Liu Yun, thank you. After Liu Yun thanked him, he opened the document. Open the document. There are pictures of various ores. Under the pictures are their names and functions. Chapter 27, Evolution of Lower Dantian. There are 2 kinds of ores here, and their functions are also different. There's a kind of ore called Yiming Stone. You need to prepare 10 pieces of this ore and place them near the bed. In this way, when you fall asleep at night, you can meditate and practice, which can effectively improve the soul attributes. This dream recalling stone is very rare. Even in Xianzhou, there are no more than 5 people who can get this dream recalling stone to help them practice. Xianzhou was willing to give this or to Liu Yun because he was really full of expectations for him. In addition to the dream recalling stone, there are also Lingwu stones used to assist in the practice of martial Dao. Around this Lingwu stone, the speed at which people perceive martial Dao will increase. Lingwu stone is not that rare compared to Dream Stone. However, this is only relative. There are so many Lingwu stones here that Liu Yun can build them into a hill. Of course, there are many strange stones in the documents sent by Zhang Yang. However, the other stones are useless to Liu Yun now, so there is no need for Xianzhou to send them. Liu Yun was also a little curious at this time and asked Zhang Yang, Liu Yun, Uncle Zhang, where do these ores come from? Zhang Yang, deep in the Kunlun ruins. When you become stronger in the future, we will arrange for you to go inside the Kunlun ruins together. Many of the things you want to know will be answered there. Liu Yun, thank you. After Liu Yun thanked him, he began to sort out his things. Put the dream stone under your bed so that you can use it when you sleep at night. As for the Lingwu stone, Liu Yun found a potted plant pot and piled it in it to form a rockery. Get these ready, and it's dusk. After his father came back, Liu Yun handed him what Xianzhou had given him. When his father Liu Hong took inventory of these things, he was also filled with emotions. Although Liu Yun knew that these things must be very rare, he had never longed for them before, nor had he experienced the difficulty of obtaining them. Therefore, Liu Yun's perception was not obvious. However, Liu Hong is different. He has been practicing martial arts for more than 20 years. He knew very well how difficult it was to obtain these resources. Among the resources given to him, the most numerous were medicinal herbs. These herbs are used to make a medicated bath for him. For martial arts practitioners, the medicated bath body tempering will greatly improve themselves. However, good medicinal herbs are very scarce. Even if Liu Hong is a senior colonel, it is difficult to obtain them. Xianzhou didn't give Liu Yun any medicinal herbs because he was too young. People who practice martial arts need to be older if they want to take medicinal herbal baths. Although he is strong now, he still has the body of a child after all, and these herbs will have considerable side effects on him. It was night. Liu Yun was in his room, and Liu Yun took out the beast pills. In his eyes, he could see the information of the beast elixir at a glance. Purified middle-level beast pill, a pill condensed from wild beasts. It contains rich nutrients. After taking it, it can increase the evolution progress by 50%. Is the information I saw this time so accurate? Liu Yun was a little surprised that he could directly see how much progress could be made. Immediately, Liu Yun no longer hesitated. He drank the beast pill directly. After taking the beast pill, he continued to absorb the energy of the beast pill, and his evolution progress also increased little by little. At the moment it reaches 100%, the hint of evolution comes again. The fourth evolution is available. Please select the evolution option. Evolution option 1. Go to Dantian. Evolve successfully. Soul plus 20. Animal control technique. Evolution option 2. Lower Dantian. Evolve successfully. Strength plus 30. Agility plus 30. Zhoutian key entrainment technique. Looking at these two options, Liu Yun directly evolved his Dantian without any hesitation. After evolving, his strength and agility suddenly increased by 30 points and 33 points. At the same time, he also obtained a technique that I didn't think was powerful just by looking at the name, Zhoutian key entrainment technique. After getting the information about this technique, Liu Yun was a little disappointed. Originally, this technique looked very similar to the technique of cultivating immortals. However, after obtaining it, Liu Yun discovered that it was still the martial Dao technique. However, this technique can enhance physical fitness, strength, agility, and other attributes by meditating and breathing. At the same time, after strengthening his lower Dantian, Liu Yun was actually able to see inside. Look within your Dantian. Normally, what martial arts practitioners refer to as the Dantian is the lower Dantian. Liu Yun felt that there seemed to be qi flowing in his Dantian. Liu Yun tentatively called it true qi. After the evolution is successful, Liu Yun's evolution point becomes 0%. When he checked the beast pill, he found that the evolution level that could be enhanced had changed to 10%. This is a bit of a fall. In other words, the remaining 4 beast pills can only increase the power by 40%. Liu Yun definitely can eat it now. If he eats it now, it will be wasted. He also needs to see how high the meal can be increased on weekdays. Make sure that after eating this beast elixir, it can be increased to 100% before taking them. Next, Liu Yun rested peacefully. When Liu Yun fell asleep, He didn't feel anything special. He just felt that he slept very soundly. When I woke up the next day, I also felt refreshed. Liu Yun checked and found that there was no change in his soul. However, I slept soundly, which was good. Liu Yun didn't fully feel the effect of Dream Stone today. However, he felt the power of Lingwu Stone right away today. When he was practicing boxing, his proficiency increased more than twice as fast as before. This winter vacation passed before I knew it. During this winter vacation, Liu Yun also fully felt the effect of Dream Stone. The improvement of the soul is very slow. In 1 month, the natural increase is only 1 point. However, when he was training on flying knives on a daily basis, his control over the flying knives was obviously greatly improved. When controlling the flying knife, the consumption of souls is also reduced a lot. During this winter vacation, Liu Yun also fully mastered 8 extremities boxing, Feng Yun fist, and soul meditation method. His own attributes have also undergone tremendous changes. Liu Yun, 6.5 years old, race, human, physique, 175, soul, 90, strength, 199, agility, 210, comprehension, 80, evolution progress, 40%, achievements, human cub, quick to move, top leader in kindergarten, read thousands of books and travel thousands of miles, proficient in boxing, martial skills. Kyushu basic boxing, full level. Taizu Chongquan, full level. Soul control method, full level. Wujikwan, full level. 8 extremities boxing, full level. Feng Yun fist, full level. Soul meditation, full level. Wind step, 5462/1000. Immortal diamond technique, 18325/5000. Zhodian key-inducing technique, 2353/5000. Tinshu Soul Chapter, 3572/1000. Liu Yun discovered that Tinshu Soul Chapter can indeed enhance the soul. However, it is a 2,000-point proficiency increase. Soul meditation method increases 1 point every 500 points of proficiency. It can only be said that there are specialties in the art. The most important thing in Tinshu Soul Chapter is the use of soul power. Since his evolution level could reach 40% during normal meals, he kept the 4 beast pills and did not take them. Chapter 28 being tracked. On the first day of the new semester, Zhao King still came with her, because parents need to deal with some things together on this first day. But after school started, Liu Yun came to school by himself and went home by himself. At first, Liu Yun did not encounter any accidents. A week passed like this. Liu Yun was walking home after school, as usual that day. Just 200 meters away from the school, Liu Yun felt someone was following him. Interesting. Has something interesting finally happened? Liu Yun thought to himself. Since Liu Yun's soul was strengthened, his perception of the surrounding environment has been greatly enhanced. The person following him at this time was quickly targeted by him. There are 3 people in total, and the strength of the 3 of them is not bad, and they should be the strength of Martial Venerable. 3 Martial Venerables came to track Liu Yun, a child. They must feel that they already take this matter very seriously. Liu Yun did not go home directly, but began to take a detour. He remembered a hill nearby. After all, the city is famous for its mountain city. There is a city in the mountain and a mountain in the city. The hill nearby is just an ordinary barren hill, and usually there won't be many people there. Therefore, it is most appropriate to take these people over there and teach them a lesson there. In the back, the 3 people following were wearing gray sweatpants and gray sweatshirts. The 3 of them were all wearing sweater hats. One of them said to the other 2, "Where is this kid going? Ignore him. Wouldn't it be better for us if he goes to a remote place?" After all, the team leader said that what he wants is a living person. If he is noticed by others and attract the attention of the dogs in the 9th game, we're going to get caught. One of them said. Same. Another person echoed. The 3 of them kept a certain distance at first and chased Liu Yun. After chasing for a while, there was no one around Liu Yun, and he reached the bottom of the hill. Liu Yun walked to the haystack nearby, sit on this pile of withered grass, and wait for them to come. Soon, the 3 people arrived here. When the 3 of them saw Liu Yun sitting here, their eyes became a little wary. Is it my imagination? Why do I feel a little joking in his eyes? One person asked his teammates, It seems to be a bit. Another person agreed. What are you whispering over there? Come and chat with me. I also want to chat with someone. Liu Yun said with a smile. The expressions of the three people suddenly changed drastically, but Liu Yun's childish words made them feel their souls trembling. Did this kid bring them here on purpose? So, this kid has discovered them already? After discovering them, we have to bring them here. Is this kid confident? Still ignorant? They hoped that Liu Yun was ignorant, but looking at Liu Yun's demeanor and confidence, they always felt that there was something wrong with this child. Considering that the organization asked them to capture a child, they actually asked for 3 martial venerables, which is even more abnormal. Liu Yun looked at the 3 of them and said with a smile, "Are you scared?" "Kid, when did you discover us?" the leader asked. Although the 3 of them were scared, they couldn't just leave. After all, they knew how miserable it would be after they returned if they couldn't complete the tasks assigned above. Therefore, even if they thought Liu Yun was abnormal, they had no choice but to bet that the 3 of them could capture this child. Before answering your questions, how about you answer my questions first? Who sent you here, and what is the purpose of looking for me? Liu Yun asked with a smile. He could see the information about the 3 people, so there was no need to ask about their names. However, there is no division of power among the 3 in the information. These 3 people are named Chen Guang, Du Jiu, and Lin Yu. All 3 of them are martial venerable, and their average physique, strength, and agility do not exceed 120. As for the soul, it is 12 or 3. With the strength of the 3 of them, Liu Yun didn't need to take them seriously. In response to Liu Yun's interrogating tone, Chen Guang, the leader, shouted loudly, "Children, if you want to know these questions, then come back with us. You will naturally find out easily then." After Chen Guang finished speaking, he walked directly towards Liu Yun. He stretched out his hand and was about to grab Liu Yun's shoulder, wanting to grab Liu Yun and take him away. Liu Yun didn't hide away, just looked at him with a smile. His hand smoothly grasped Liu Yun's shoulder. However, when he tried hard to lift Liu Yun up, he found that he couldn't lift it no matter how hard he tried. It's like holding on to a very heavy stone. Not only that, in the next moment, a force suddenly shook Liu Yun's shoulders. His hands were numb from the shock, and his body took more than 10 steps back before he could stand still. "Monster, monster! This is not a human. It's a monster!" Chen Guang said fearfully and was about to turn around and run away. Seeing Chen Guang run away in fear, the remaining 2 people also looked at each other, turned around, and ran away. But in front of Liu Yun, can they run away? Liu Yun didn't want to use his flying knife or the flying needle given by his mother. He just moved his mind slightly to control the 3 pebbles on the ground. Stones flew up and hit their legs. Each stone hit them twice in a row. Their legs were directly injured, and the 3 of them fell to the ground. Liu Yun slowly walked up to them. Liu Yun smiled at Chen Guang and said, "You are so rude. Who are you calling a monster? Could it be that you have no mother and no one teaches you how to speak?" The more leisurely Liu Yun was at this time, the more frightened these 3 people became. Especially the stone that injured them just now made them even more frightened. That is obviously something that only a very strong soul control master can do, at least a 6-star soul control master. A child, a 6-star soul control master, they didn't dare to think about it all. This is not a monster. Could this be a human? Who can have such incredible talent? If only they knew that Liu Yun was not a 6-star soul control master, but a 9-star soul control master. They will not think Liu Yun is a monster, but will think Liu Yun is a god. Chen Guang said fearfully at this time, "Don't ask us. We just use money to do things. We don't know who the other party is or why they want to arrest you." "Really? Since you don't want to say it, I won't force you. Between the 2 of you, who is willing to say it? Whoever is willing to say it, I will let him go. If neither of you is willing to say it, then I will have to deal with it reluctantly." Liu Yun was still smiling when he said these words. At first glance, it looks like a very innocent smile. However, to these 3 people, it sounded like a devil. This is simply a little devil. At such a young age, he can deal with them with a smile. It is hard for them to imagine what kind of environment this child grew up in. We really don't know. We're really just getting paid to do things. Du Jiu was also reluctant to say it because he believed that all 3 of them should agree on a standard for this matter. Only in this way can Liu Yun believe it. I can tell at a glance whether what you say is true or false. If you two don't want to say it, then you can do it. Lin Yu. In order to intimidate this man, Liu Yun directly said his name. Chapter 29, Decisive Killing You. Oh, do you know my name? Lin Yu looked at Liu Yun in horror, as if he had seen a monster. I know what I should know, so do you want to tell the truth? Or do you choose to die with them? Liu Yun asked with a smile. The more playful Liu Yun smiled, the more panic grew in his heart. Lin Yu finally said in a trembling voice, I said, we are the people of the Shadow Organization and the City Building Group, and the group leader asked us to capture you and hand you over to him. Oh, why are you targeting me? Liu Yun asked. I don't know. We just came under the order of the team leader. Lin Yu said, don't you know? Liu Yun frowned slightly, then turned to Qingguang and Du Jiu. He smiled and said, he is willing to cooperate, but you are not willing to cooperate. Then I will send you on your way first. Liu Yun said, controlling the needles his mother gave him. The needle flew in front of the two men and hovered in front of them. At this time, Qingguang quickly shouted, stop, please stop for now. I know what he doesn't know, and I can tell you. Sometimes people are like this. Once one person gives up, it will be difficult for others to stick to it. The three of them came together. If all three of them died for the organization, they would have no complaints. However, now Lin Yu is greedy for life and afraid of death. Wouldn't it be ridiculous for them to continue to work for the Shadow Organization? Oh, what do you know? Tell me. Liu Yun said with great interest. With his strength, if he really wanted to kill these two people immediately, where would they have a chance to speak? Liu Yun just wanted to scare them and make them tell them about the Shadow Organization. As for whether to keep them after they finish speaking, they definitely can't be kept. Liu Yun knew very well what kind of organization the Shadow Organization was. These people not only attacked martial arts practitioners, but sometimes also ordinary people. For their own benefit, they can persecute anyone. Letting such a scumbag organization leave will only harm innocent people. If Liu Yun hadn't been strong today, and Liu Yun had been captured by them, even if he could have survived, he would definitely have been worse off than dead. Because the Shadow Organization wants to keep you alive, you must be of great research value to them if you are alive. Just like by Xiaoyu's mother, she had research value for the Shadow Organization, so they did not kill her after they captured her. Fortunately, people from the 9th Bureau arrived in time and rescued her. If Liu Yun's mother and son hadn't discovered it and notified the 9th inning, one can imagine how miserable her end would have been. Qingguang naturally didn't know what Liu Yun was thinking at this time. In order to survive, he quickly said to Liu Yun, I heard from the team leader that the organization was targeting you when they first paid attention to Qin Yan. The organization felt that you were different from ordinary people. Children are different, and I want to take you back to study the differences between you and ordinary people. Where are your groups? Liu Yun asked. Qingguang suddenly fell into hesitation, because giving the address would be too disruptive to the organization. Their families will definitely be punished by the organization for this. Just when he was hesitating, Du Jiu spoke. He said, first, I can say it. As long as you let me go, I can say it. Okay, tell me. Liu Yun looked at him with a gentle smile. Du Jiu had no intention of trying to figure out Liu Yun's thoughts at this time. He just thought that if he didn't say anything, he would be the only one to die. As for saying this, will my family be in danger? Du Jiu is different from Lin Yu and Qingguang in that he has no family. The only person he cares about is a woman. Just wait until you leave alive today, take her with you, and run away far away from now on. Although the Shadow Organization is very capable, it is possible to find them. But that was only a possibility. If he didn't say it now, he felt that he must be dead. After he died, Lin Yu and the others had said everything they needed to say. The Shadow Organization would definitely think that he had said it too, and the woman he cared about would also suffer. The Shadow Organization is in Zizhu Village, north of Zhucheng. To the west of the village, there is a compound there. That compound is the stronghold of the Shadow Organization group. Du Jiu said. As soon as he finished speaking, Liu Yun suddenly received a prompt. Trigger a random mission. Wipe out the Fortress Shadow Organization and obtain an achievement. The great hero serves the country and the people. When Liu Yun heard this mission, he couldn't help but be stunned. Here comes another achievement. Liu Yun has achieved many achievements now, and he loves these achievements very much. Because every achievement brings benefits, and you will not be disappointed. However, Liu Yun was not impulsive, but continued to ask, how many people are there in your stronghold, and what are their strengths? The people in the stronghold were captured or killed by the Ninth Bureau a few years ago, and most of them have been lost. Now there are only 43 people left. Except for the three of us, if no one is on duty, there should be 40 people there. Most people are strong, similar to us. Our team leader is the strongest. He is Martial Emperor. Du Jiu reported to Liu Yunhui. Martial Emperor? Okay, thank you for telling me this. Liu Yundao said. Then, can we go? Du Jiu tried to ask. Why are you leaving? You've already come, so stay. To thank you for your answers, I'll give you a happy one. Liu Yun looked at them with a smile, and the three needles moved instantly. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. The needle pierced their throats, and the three collapsed in disbelief. The three needles flew back so fast that there wasn't even a trace of blood on them. Liu Yun put them away and watched the three of them completely die before Liu Yun left. Originally, Liu Yun wanted to call his mother and ask her to notify people from the Ninth Bureau to collect the body. However, Liu Yun finally decided to give up because he would have to look for the Shadow Organization's stronghold in the future. If his parents knew about it, they would not be able to agree to let him go so easily, even if they believed in his own strength. So, Liu Yun decided to let it be. After the body was discovered, whether people from the Ninth Bureau came to inspect it or people from the ordinary police station, they should be able to identify the three people. After Liu Yun left, he hurried home all the way. In order to make up for the time wasted with the three of them, Liu Yun ran all the way, leaving only an afterimage for the pedestrians passing by. When Liu Yun arrived at the door of his house, his face was neither red nor breathless. He opened the door and entered the yard. Everything was as usual, and his mother didn't notice anything. Mom, I may come back later tomorrow, Liu Yun said to Zhao King. He was able to catch up with the time today at his own speed, but tomorrow he had to go outside the city, which would take more than 1 or 2 o'clock. What are you going to do? Zhao King asked doubtfully. I prepared a little surprise for you, Mother, so don't ask me yet. Liu Yun had already thought about it on the way here. It would be his mother's birthday in a few days. You could prepare a small gift for her tomorrow. Chapter 30 heading to the Shadow Organization Stronghold. Little surprise? Zhao King frowned slightly and stared at Liu Yun for a long time. After a long time, she said, Okay, but you have to keep your phone on at all times. Don't let us worry at home. Don't worry, Mom. If you're worried, I can call you at any time. Liu Yun promised. With Liu Yun's assurance, Zhao King naturally stopped thinking about it. After all, she thought she knew how much her son was capable of. She believed that her son would not do anything to worry her. After his mother agreed, Liu Yun went down to practice Qigong. Although Liu Yun is very strong now, he feels that there are people outside the world and there is a sky outside the world, so he still has to continue to work hard. After all, when it comes to martial Dao, he is not even a martial king now. When it comes to soul control masters, his level is indeed quite high, but he has seen stronger Zhang Yang and Zhang Qiu, so he won't feel proud. After Liu Yun trained his father, he came back and had dinner with his family. While Liu Yun and his family were having a cozy dinner, Yi Lan from the 9th inning received a notice to attend work. Someone discovered the deceased, who was suspected to be martial artist, and seemed to have been killed by some master. Yi Lan and the others must investigate this matter in the 9th round. When Yi Lan and his subordinates rushed to the scene of the crime, there was already a cordon surrounding it when they arrived. Yi Lan inquired and found out that a passerby had discovered it. After calling the police, people from the police station came over. After confirming that it was martial artist, they notified Yi Lan and the others. Yi Lan came over and briefly learned about the situation from the police station and then handed over. Then, she ordered her subordinates to start checking the information of these people. The people under her command quickly used instruments to scan the appearance of the 3 deceased people, and their information was quickly displayed. The subordinate quickly came over and reported, Captain, these 3 people are all from the Shadow Organization, and their strength is in the martial arts world. From the Shadow Organization? Is it vendetta? Elon frowned slightly. There are many various private martial Dao organizations, some good and some evil, and naturally there will be vendettas. If the evil one is eliminated by the righteous way, after the 9th round is determined, some cash rewards will be given to the martial artist who eliminated the evil. If the evil person killed the righteous martial artist, the 9th Bureau will track it down as soon as possible and avenge the righteous martial artist. It is precisely because Zheng Dao cooperates a lot with people from the 9th Bureau that organizations like the Shadow Organization can only hide in the shadows. They're shady bugs. Captain, there are 3 wounds on the body of the deceased. 2 wounds on the legs are not fatal. There's a pinhole in the throat. The person who killed them should be a sole controller. At this time, the subordinate who was doing the autopsy came over. Sole controller? No one can resist 3 martial venerable sole controllers who can easily kill them. At least they must be 6-star sole controllers. Those are the only 6-star sole controllers who are building the city. They killed someone, they can't pretend it didn't happen. Elon said doubtfully. Captain, is he a sole control master from somewhere else? A subordinate speculated. It's possible to take the bodies of the 3 people back first and check whether there are any traces of contact with others and whether there are fingerprints. Elon said one after another. Captain, what if we can't find it? A subordinate asked worriedly. After all, the sole controller kills the martial artist who is lower than himself, and the martial artist has no chance of contact. There is no need for the sole control master to contact the martial artist unless there is something the sole control master wants in the deceased. If you can't find it, then you can't find it. These are the people who deserve to die. If the murderous sole controller doesn't want us to investigate, he obviously doesn't want his reputation. Elon said, for the dead of the Shadow Organization. They only wanted to find the murderer and give him a bonus. But if the other party doesn't want it, then you don't have to force it. Yes. When Elon said this, these subordinates instantly had divine insight and no longer struggled. The next day, Liu Yun went to school as normal. In the afternoon, before the last class, Liu Yun went to see his head teacher Yu Yang. Classmate Liu Yun, what's the matter? Yu Yang asked doubtfully. Yu Yang now completely treats Liu Yun as a little adult. Teacher, I want to take time off from the next class to do something. Liu Yun Dao said. Huh? Asking for leave to do something? What? Yu Yang asked. If Liu Yun was an adult child, he would definitely not ask anything. After all, Liu Yun is still a child. Even if he treats Liu Yun as a little adult, he still cannot treat him like an adult in many cases. Preparing a birthday gift for my mother. Liu Yun Dao said. This? Then go ahead. Although Yu Yang felt strange, he still agreed. He secretly decided that after Liu Yun left, he would call Liu Yun's parents to ask what was going on. Thank you, teacher, Liu Yun said, then turned and left. Not long after Liu Yun left, Yu Yang was about to make a call when he suddenly received a call. Liu Yun checked and found that it was a strange call. After he got through, he asked, Who are you? Ah, yes. Okay, all right. After learning who the other party was, Yu Yang could only nod. After answering the call, Yu Yang's face was sweating. He wiped his sweat and murmured, What kind of monster is this? He actually asked such a being to call and explain in person. Yu Yang stopped calling Liu Yun's parents next time. Just kidding. The superiors personally called him to warn him and told him to stay out of Liu Yun's affairs. Whatever Liu Yun wanted to do, he would give Liu Yun the greatest freedom. Having said this, he is an ordinary martial artist teacher, so naturally he cannot take too much care. Liu Yun left school and received a message from Zhang Yang as soon as he arrived outside. Zhang Yang, 3 people from the Shadow Organization died in Zhuqing yesterday. Was it you who did it? Liu Yun, are you so well informed? It was impossible for him to deny it at this time. No need. Zhang Yang came to ask. He must have already heard the news. Zhang Yang, we only found out today after seeing the news in the 9th round that the murderer was a sole controller and the deceased was not far from your school. Liu Yun, Uncle Zhang, do you have anything to say? Zhang Yang, that's not the case. I'm just telling you, if you find anything or what you want to do, you can tell us. We won't stop you. If you need help, we can help you. Seeing Zhang Yang's news, Liu Yun stopped, thought for a moment, and then sent the message. Liu Yun, I'll send you a message later, and you can inform the people in the 9th Bureau to deal with the aftermath. Zhang Yang, the aftermath? Liu Yun, those 3 people wanted to catch me yesterday. I learned from them the stronghold of the Shadow Organization group. I'm going to destroy them today. Zhang Yang, okay, but you have to be careful. The opponent has a martial emperor. Liu Yun, don't worry, I can solve it. Chapter 31, Testing the Knife. After Liu Yun finished chatting with Zhang Yang, he went to take a taxi. Liu Yun stopped the car, and the driver was a little surprised to see that he was a primary school student. However, I still asked, "Kid, where are you going? How much does it cost to go to Zizhu Village?" Liu Yun asked. Zizhu Village? The driver didn't expect to go outside the city. However, this was considered a big business. How could he not accept it? However, before accepting this business, he still needs to ask, "Kid, are you alone? Don't you have any family members with you?" "Well, it's just me," Liu Yun said. The driver hesitated. Sending a child so far away made the driver a little worried. Seeing his hesitation, Liu Yun added, "Don't worry, I can afford to pay." "What are you going to do there, kid?" the driver asked. He thought for a moment, and if Liu Yun was from Zizhu Village, he could send him there. "Go over there and do something," Liu Yun said calmly. "Working? My dear, I may not be able to help you." The driver thought for a while and refused directly. He was still worried that if something happened to the child, he would be in big trouble. When Liu Yun saw that he was leaving, he had no choice but to stare at him and then use the soul control method. His current soul is 91, a 9-star soul controller. It's okay to control someone for a short period of time. This driver is just an ordinary person, and controlling him is exceptionally smooth. After Liu Yun succeeded, he said directly to the driver, "It's okay to take me to Zizhu Village." "No problem. Get in the car," the driver said. At this moment, in the driver's eyes, the person in front of him was not a child, but an adult. After Liu Yun got in the car, he asked, "How much is it?" 100 yuan, the driver replied. Liu Yun took out his mobile phone and scanned 100 yuan for him. The money in Liu Yun's mobile phone was transferred to him by his mother, a total of 10,000 yuan. For a child, it must be an astronomical sum of money. Zhao King just thought that her son would go to and from school by himself and would not look around when he wanted to buy something. She knew that Liu Yun was very sensible, so she was not worried that Liu Yun would spend the money carelessly. Zizhu Village is not far from Zhucheng, so Liu Yun and the others arrived not long after they left the city. When he got out of the village, Liu Yun got out of the car and said to the driver, "Wait for me here. I will come back after I finish my work." After Liu Yun finished speaking, he walked directly into the village. After entering the village, Liu Yun activated his senses. As he went deeper into the village, he soon sensed the aura of martial artist. He walked towards the location of the aura, and sure enough, he saw a courtyard. This compound is still a brick house. Houses like this are rarely seen in the city. Only historical sites will be preserved. Otherwise, they would all be small bungalows. As Liu Yun walked towards this brick house, he suddenly heard an old voice reminding him, "Kid, you are not from the village. Are you lost? Don't go over there." Liu Yun turned around and saw an old man holding a cigarette in his hand at a fork in the road on the left behind him. The old man's skin was dark, obviously exposed to wind and rain. He felt very kind to others. Liu Yun looked at his attributes and found that he was just an ordinary person. Since he was just an ordinary person, Liu Yun didn't need to say much to him, because ordinary people should not be involved in these things. Liu Yun just smiled and said, "It's okay, my relatives are inside, and I'm here to find someone." After Liu Yun finished speaking, he walked directly to the door of the brick house without waiting for the other party's response. Liu Yun stood in front of the door and felt it, making sure. There are no more or less people inside, a total of 40 people. It should be that they all retreated when they heard the news that those 3 people were dead. Liu Yun thought to himself, now that everyone is inside, Liu Yun naturally doesn't waste time anymore. He pushed open the door directly. The door was secured with bolts, but with Liu Yun's martial venerable strength, there was no way he could stop it. He exerted force with his hand, and the latch broke, and the door opened naturally. Someone broke in, and the shadow people in the yard quickly noticed. There were a total of 12 people in the yard. After they noticed the movement, they all immediately turned to look at the door. Those who had weapons at hand immediately reached for them. However, the moment they got the weapons, They only heard the sound of whizzing through the air around them. There were needles and knives, and the needles pierced their throats and killed them with one blow. The same goes for the flying knife. These 12 martial artists are all martial venerable. But in front of Liu Yun, he was like a piece of grass. The 12 people fell down, and someone ran out from the ground at the stairs of the compound. However, as soon as they ran out, they were greeted by flying knives. This flying knife is very flexible in the air. Wherever the knife passes, these martial artists are all killed by their throats. After Liu Yun killed the martial artist who came out, he walked towards the stairs. This staircase goes down to the basement. It seems that whatever the people of the Shadow Organization want to do, they will do it in the basement. Liu Yun walked down. Liu Ye's flying knife was suspended beside him, and he went in with him. Liu Yun took a few steps down, and someone else rushed over. For those who rushed over, without exception, they all died from Liu Ye's flying knife. He easily entered the basement. At this time, there were only 7 people left in the basement. 6 of these 7 people were trembling all over and looking at Liu Yun in fear. There was also a thin, middle-aged man who stared at Liu Yun fiercely, holding a Tang Dao tightly in his hand. "You are the person we're looking for. What kind of monster are you?" He looked at Liu Yun coldly. Liu Yun glanced at him and saw all his attributes. Peng Yuan, elite humanity physique, 236 soul, 25 strength, 343 agility, 339 comprehension. 60. Liu Yun looked at this attribute and didn't pay much attention to this martial emperor. If it was someone whose attributes were close to 500, Liu Yun might still be a little wary. "You don't even know what my situation is, and you dare to send someone to attack me. You are very brave. However, there's a price to pay for being reckless." As Liu Yun spoke, he had already controlled the flying knife to attack. There was a driver waiting for him outside, and he was busy going home, so naturally he couldn't chatter with these people here. The flying knives first took care of the remaining 6 people, and finally attacked and killed Peng Yuan. Peng Yuan looked at the flying knife that was attacking him and swung it in horror. He discovered that only when he actually faced the flying knife did he realize how terrifying the flying knife was. Liu Yun could actually bypass his knife and kill him directly. But Liu Yun suddenly wanted to see how powerful this flying knife was. Zhang Yang said that there were only 6 flying knives in Xianzhou, and Liu Yun could feel its sharpness, but he had not tested it himself. This guy's Tang Dao is pretty good, and you could try out the flying knife. Ding! Upon hearing a crisp sound, the Tang Dao in Peng Yuan's hand broke into 2 pieces. Chapter 32, The Magical Use of Soul Control Method. After the Tang Dao broke, the flying knife still did not stop. The flying knife went straight to Peng Yuan's wrist. The flying knife flexibly destroyed his hand tendon and then flew to the other hand. "Ah!" Peng Yuan's shrill voice came out. He never expected that a seemingly inconspicuous task above would actually cost him his life. He had been lurking in Zhucheng for more than 10 years and thought about many of his endings. Being caught in the 9th game, being caught by the True Martial Department, he may have thought about these things. He could never have imagined that he would be killed by a child alone, and they would be wiped out, and he would be crippled. Liu Yun quickly disabled his hand tendons and hamstrings, and after making sure he couldn't resist, he took back the throwing knife and asked, "Tell me, what are you planning to arrest me for? You want me to say this in a dream? The moment I joined the Shadow Organization, I, Peng Yuan, was determined to die. I just hate that I haven't killed enough people," Peng Yuan said through gritted teeth. Liu Yun looked at him to make sure that what he said was not a lie. This man is really a madman who only wants to harm people, and a madman who is not afraid of death. "I'm curious, how is your willpower?" Liu Yun said with a smile. He had not used the soul control method yesterday and had forgotten about this skill for a while. But after using it once today, Liu Yun will naturally not forget it now. After listening to Liu Yun's words, Peng Yuan looked at his young face with a smile and felt like he saw a little devil. He had a vague feeling that something bad was going to happen, but I don't know what it is. However, he knew it the next moment. When Liu Yun began to control him, he felt dizzy, as if someone was talking to him in his ear. "Submit. Stop struggling." Peng Yuan's willpower was indeed strong, and he persisted for several minutes before Liu Yun took control of him. Even though his hand tendons and hamstrings were disabled, he was still able to persist for a few minutes, which can be said to be quite impressive. However, a few minutes later, he was still briefly controlled by Liu Yun. Liu Yun spoke again at this time and asked, "What are you going to do to me after you catch me?" "Send you and the Guardian Spirit Stone back to the headquarters. The leader of the headquarters wants to control your genius and use you to do some experiments." Peng Yuan replied, "Spirit Stone? What is this?" Liu Yun asked. "A kind of strange stone that can protect people was obtained by someone from the depths of Kunlun ruins. With this spirit stone protecting the body, even if the martial artist under the martial saint attacks, it will not be hurt at all. The headquarters wants to study this protective spirit. How did stone possess such powerful power?" Peng Yuan explained. "Where is the spirit stone now?" "In the cupboard over there, in a safe." "What is the password?" 99315721. Liu Yun walked towards the cabinet, and after opening it, he found a small safe. This safe requires a password. If you enter the wrong password, the box will self-destruct. Liu Yun successfully entered the password, and sure enough, the box opened. At the moment the box was opened, a prompt sounded. Opening the complicated password box for the first time, Comprehension +10. Liu Yun didn't expect such an unexpected surprise. Inside the password box, there is a crystal clear stone. This stone is slightly larger than your thumb, and it is flat like a pendant. No, this looks like it should be a pendant. There is also a small hole above it. Soon, Liu Yun found a text appearing on its body. Protection Spirit Stone, the amulet of the immortal master in Kunlun ruins. The effect of protecting people is linked to the person's soul. It can protect at least martial emperor and below attacks. Immortal master in Kunlun ruins? What is this? Liu Yun was shocked and got incredible information from the person who protected the Spirit Stone. Liu Yun put the protective Spirit Stone away. Just in time, there was no need to buy a gift later. This is the most suitable gift for mothers. This shows that its protective effect is linked to the soul. This has a great effect on the mother. Of course, the biggest one is still here with Liu Yun. But Liu Yun himself also practices martial Tao, and he also practices the immortal diamond art, so he doesn't need this so much. The mother is a pure soul control master, and she is very fragile. Therefore, this can only play its value in her body. If he gets rid of the stronghold of the shadow organization this time, he will definitely be targeted by them in the future. If they can't deal with themselves, they will definitely consider dealing with their relatives. My father has now successfully entered the martial arts world. In comparison, the mother is more dangerous. After he put it away, he asked Peng Yuan over there, "Do you have any other good things here?" "There are still 30 beast pills, but they have not been purified." Peng Yuan said. "Where?" Liu Yun asked. "In the cabinet over here. Put it in a sandalwood box." Peng Yuan pointed to the other side. Liu Yun walked towards where he pointed, opened the cabinet, and saw a box made of sandalwood. This box is not big, just like a small briefcase. After all, 30 beast pills don't take up much space. After Liu Yun put these away, he walked over and ended his control over Peng Yuan. At the moment it ended, Peng Yuan felt that he suddenly regained clarity from his groggy state. When he woke up, he looked at Liu Yun in fear. "You are indeed not a human being. What kind of magic is this?" From his reaction, Liu Yun estimated that there was either no technique to control people in this world, or it was so rare that even the martial emperor of the shadow organization had never heard of it. Otherwise, he wouldn't be so exaggerated. Liu Yun said with a smile, "Demon law? Shouldn't this be immortal law? You're worthless now. Get on with it." After Liu Yun finished speaking, he controlled the flying knife. The flying knife flew over and scratched his throat. Peng Yuan fell down from sitting and lay on the ground, blood slowly flowing, and his human breath gradually disappeared. At the moment Peng Yuan fell, Liu Yun received the sound of completing his mission. The mission is completed, and the great hero who obtains the achievement serves the country and the people. The great achiever serves the country and the people. Strength plus 10%, understanding plus 10. It actually increased its strength by 10%. This trip is indeed a great harvest. Liu Yun sighed in his heart. Then, he left with the sandalwood box. He walked all the way out and looked at the body lying on the ground. Liu Yun couldn't help but sigh in his heart. Maybe it's the system panel that relieves me of the psychological burden. It may also be the improvement of my soul that makes me become indifferent to these things. Yesterday was his first time killing someone. Afterwards, he didn't feel any discomfort. Today, I massacred so many people again, but I still didn't feel uncomfortable. Although these are all extremely evil people, Liu Yun still feels that he has changed a lot compared to his previous life. If in the previous life, let alone killing someone, I would feel uncomfortable seeing the brutally murdered corpse. After walking out of the yard, Liu Yun closed the door again. After closing the door, Liu Yun sent a message to Zhang Yang. Liu Yun, you can inform the 9th Bureau to go to Zizhu Village to clean up the mess. This is the location. Liu Yun, my location. Liu Yun also sent Zhang Yang the location of this place, then left the village and went outside the village to take a car back to the city. Chapter 33, Unpurified Beast Pill. When Liu Yun left, the old man smoking cigarettes also saw him. The old man just felt strange, although he didn't know who lived in that compound. But everyone in their village knew that he was not a good person. Liu Yun, a child, actually went in and came out safe and sound. There was also a small wooden box in his hand. It looked like he was looking for a relative and got a gift from a relative. As for Pang Yuan's scream, just now, it was originally in the basement, but it was already very small when it was heard outside. The old man's ears were somewhat deaf, so it was naturally impossible for him to hear. When Liu Yun arrived outside the village, the driver was indeed guarding him honestly. After Liu Yun got in the car, he said to him, "Let's go. Send me outside Xinjiang community." "Okay," the driver responded, then started the car and rushed towards the city. When we returned to Xinjiang community, it was already evening. Liu Yun paid the return fare, got off the bus, released the control, and then turned around and left. This driver was just an ordinary person, so he only recovered after Liu Yun walked away. When the driver recovered, he suddenly felt very cold. Although the weather is indeed cold now, this car has air conditioning. He felt cold at this time and was frightened. After the control was released, he still remembered what he had done. He remembered that he obeyed this child and treated him as an adult. There is only one explanation for this situation. It's a ghost. Only monsters and monsters can do this. However, after being scared for a long time, he suddenly remembered to check his income. I looked at my phone and saw that I had indeed received 200 yuan. The money is not a cover-up, and the other party is not trying to harm him. Could it be that that kid is going to Zizhu Village to seek revenge? His parents are from Zizhu Village? He is a child abandoned by his parents. After his death, he turned into a ghost to seek revenge. I have to say, this driver is very thoughtful. In just a few minutes, he had already figured out the plot of a domestic horror film. However, he quickly shook his head. No, if that's the case, then why did he come to Xinjiang community? Is it possible that the other one of his parents is here? Yes, that must be the case. Leave quickly, or I will send him somewhere else when he comes out. Thinking of this, the driver hurriedly drove home. Because of what happened today, this driver will not dare to carry a single child in the next few years. Of course, Liu Yun didn't know that the driver had thought so much. After entering the community, he hurried home as soon as possible. When he returned home, he found that fortunately, his father had not come back yet. His mother, Zhao King, was sitting at the door and watching. When she saw him coming, a gentle smile appeared on her face. "If you don't come back, I'm going to call you and ask you where you are and what's in your box." Zhao King asked. "The people from Xianzhou sent it to me at school." Liu Yun directly pushed this to Xianzhou. "Anyway, I can communicate with Zhang Yang at Xianzhou. If the mother really wanted to check, she could ask Zhang Yang and the others to help." He really couldn't let his mother see the things in this box. When she saw so many beast elixirs, she would definitely wonder where she came from. This unpurified beast elixir can also be seen by my mother. Even if the unpurified beast elixir was said to be given by Xianzhou, it would be impossible for my mother to believe it. Did Xianzhou give it to you? Why not send it directly to your home? Mother Zhao King was a little confused. "I don't know." Liu Yun shook his head. "Forget it. Maybe they have their own ideas." Zhao King stopped asking. Mom, this is a gem I bought today. I gave it to you as a birthday gift in advance for your mother. Liu Yun took out the spirit stone and handed it to his mother. Oh, Zhao Qing's eyes lit up when she saw this spirit stone. Although she didn't know the spirit stone, she looked at the pendant-like gemstone, which was crystal clear and glowed with red and yellow light under the setting sun. Any woman would like it after seeing it. What's more, she also vaguely felt that this gem was extraordinary. Son, is this the surprise you gave me? Mom likes it very much. Zhao Qing's face was filled with a smile. This was the first gift she received from her son, and she would definitely cherish it. Hey, it's fine if Mom likes it. Remember to wear it at all times. Liu Yun said to his mother. Yeah. Zhao Qing nodded, then took the gem and went in to find a necklace to string it together. At this time, Liu Yun carried the box to his bedroom and put the sandalwood box next to the bed, preparing to check it tonight. He knew it was not purified, but he still wanted to see if there was any way to purify it here. If not, then you can only ask Zhangyang. After a while, my father came too. After he came back, his mother Zhao Qing immediately asked him to see the gem pendant given by her son. Husband, do you think this pendant of mine looks good on me? Zhao Qing asked with a smile. It looks good. The pendant looks good, and you look even better with your wife. Lu Hong said sincerely. No serious person. Zhao Qing rolled her eyes at him, but she could tell that these words were very useful to her, and she liked them very much. However, she later showed off to Lu Hong. This is a birthday gift that my son prepared for me in advance. It turned out to be a gift for my son. No wonder it looks so good. My son, Lu Hong, is very discerning. Lu Hong knows how to praise others, especially his own son and wife. But after he finished the compliment, he looked at Liu Yun and said, Yuner, I prepared a birthday gift for Mom. Then you should remember it when Dad's birthday comes. Yeah. Liu Yun nodded. He must remember. In his previous life, he was ignorant as a child. Later, when I grew up, I started a family and started business, and I also made a lot of money. However, the son wants to be raised but cannot be cared for. My parents had already left at that time, and I wanted to take my parents to have a good birthday celebration, but no one was around. In this life, I must cherish this family relationship. Okay. My father said hello 3 times in a row, and it was obvious that he was really happy. Later, Liu Yun also discovered it. This protective spirit stone is relatively intelligent. When the father comes into contact with the mother, it will not form a barrier to stop the father. After dinner, Liu Yun practiced martial arts in the courtyard for a while. After that, I took a shower and then went to the bedroom to check the box of beast pills I had seized. Liu Yun opened the wooden box, and there were indeed large and small beast pills inside. These beast elixirs contained different strengths and weaknesses. Liu Yun took out a small one and checked the information on it. Unpurified primary beast elixir. The beast elixir condensed by wild beasts contains rich nutrients, and at the same time, it also contains the crazy blood of the beasts. Eating it can increase the evolution progress by 1%, but there is also a chance of contracting the madness of the beast. It is recommended to consume after purification. Discover the unpurified beast elixir and obtain the purification technique. Chapter 34009, Purification Spell. Liu Yun thought about many possibilities of purifying the beast elixir. He even thought that he could not solve it on his own and could only ask Xianzhou for help. He never would have imagined that the final result would be so simple. Directly reward him with a purification technique, which is simple and crude. However, after obtaining the purification technique, Liu Yun discovered that his proficiency in this skill was currently 0, and he still had to practice. Purification 0/1000. The proficiency level doesn't look high at first glance, but Liu Yun knows very well that this one is different from those techniques. This is just a pure skill, and 10,000 points of proficiency is already very high. Moreover, if you want to improve your proficiency, you can only use purification. The purification technique can only be used on things that can be purified. Currently, all he knows is this beast elixir. His current proficiency is 0, and the chance of successfully purifying the beast elixir is 5%. Liu Yun picked up this beast pill and began to use the purification technique. Purification failed. Increase proficiency by 2. Purification failed. Increase proficiency by 2. This was repeated, and after a long while, Liu Yun was too tired to purify anymore. This purification technique is very easy to release, but consumes a lot of soul power. Now his purification skill proficiency has reached 114 points. A total of 57 times, he successfully purified the first primary beast elixir. Although this elementary beast elixir could only increase his progress by 1%, Liu Yun still felt a great sense of accomplishment when he personally purified a beast elixir. Being so exhausted, he fell down and fell asleep. The next day, Liu Yun put the beast pill in his safe before going to school. Although Liu Yun thought that his mother and others would not come to look through his things, if they accidentally saw the unpurified beast elixir, he would have to make up some excuses to deal with it. Instead of that, put them tighter. At noon that day, Liu Yun's cell phone suddenly rang. When he clicked on it, he saw that it was Zhang Yang who had made money for him. Liu Yun carefully counted the string of zeros on it and was a little surprised. He immediately sent a message to ask for the reason. Liu Yun, Uncle Zhang, why did you transfer this money to me? Zhang Yang, this is your reward for destroying the shadow organization stronghold that built the city. Under normal circumstances, Liu Yun, you don't need so much. Zhang Yang, if someone else was responsible for the annihilation, at least 500,000 yuan would be given. I only give you 100,000 yuan, which is already relatively small. Just accept it. Although the bonus given to you will not be as large as others, it will compensate you in other places. Liu Yun, okay, then I'll accept it. If you need my help with anything near Zhucheng, you can tell me. Zhang Yang, okay. After chatting with Zhang Yang, Liu Yun accepted Zhang Yang's transfer. Liu Yun asked Zhang Yang to arrange it for him if there was anything nearby. This is not a courtesy, but sincere. After all, when dealing with some martial artists, there is a chance to trigger random tasks. The fact that Zhucheng's shadow organization group was destroyed was also a hot search topic on Zhucheng today. In fact, the discussion in the entire Kyushu is extremely high. It was the 9th game that announced the news, and they only announced that it was a mysterious master who had done it. As for who, they didn't say. Of course, they don't know either. They just received a notice from Xianzhou that there was a group of the shadow organization in Zizhu village, which had been destroyed, and they were asked to deal with the aftermath. Xianzhou didn't tell them who did it, and it was hard for them to ask. After all, in Jiuzhou, the confidentiality of Xianzhou is higher than that of the 9th game. Xianzhou can ask the 9th game about some things that the 9th game knows, but the 9th game cannot ask Xianzhou. If Xianzhou feels that they can inform the 9th game, they will naturally do so. For Liu Yun, the matter of solving the shadow organization grouping can only be regarded as a small episode. It was business as usual for a while. He couldn't spend as much time purifying the beast elixir every day as he did on the first day, because he still needs to set aside a certain amount of time to practice. In this way, time passed day by day, and in the blink of an eye, another week came. When Liu Yun was out of school this week, he felt someone nearby looking towards him. He immediately turned his head and looked over, and saw that the person standing over there was actually a 21 or 12-year-old elder sister. When Liu Yun saw her attributes, he couldn't help but be stunned for a moment. This woman is actually so strong, and the most important thing is that her name is also very weird. 009. Mechanical human physique, 500 soul, 50 strength, 500 agility, 500 comprehension. Not a human, Liu Yun murmured in his heart. 009. Which is obviously the number. Moreover, her race is a mechanical human. What is this? Does the machine have human intelligence? The Zhangyang brothers and sisters are human souls residing in mechanical bodies. Therefore, they are still considered human beings. However, can this 009 in front of me be considered a human being? Her three-dimensional attributes reminded Liu Yun of the Zhangyang brothers and sisters. She should also be from Xianzhou. When Liu Yun was lamenting this, he suddenly received a reminder. Complete the mission, Soul plus 5. Hey, I almost forgot about it, but it's actually completed? Liu Yun was a little surprised. Reading numerous tasks was completed. After checking the attributes of 10,000 people, I didn't expect that the 10,000 people were actually a robot sent by Xianzhou. After obtaining these 5 soul points, Liu Yun's soul attribute reached 97 points. Liu Yun then walked towards this 009. When 009 saw Liu Yun coming over, a smile appeared on his face. This smile makes it hard to believe that this is actually a mechanical human being. Liu Yun approached and asked, "Sister, are you here to see me?" "Well, just call me number 9. I was sent by Xianzhou to assist you." 009 said. "Sent to assist me? What are you helping me with?" Liu Yun asked with some confusion. "Anything is fine." 009 replied seriously. "Is everything okay? Do you have a place to live?" Liu Yun asked. "Yes, don't worry. Xianzhou has ordered me not to attract the attention of your family. The higher-ups just think that if you have something that is not convenient for you to do yourself, you can ask me to do it for you." 009 replied. "Okay then. I have nothing to do here for the time being, so you can do whatever you need to do." Liu Yun Dao said. After saying that, Liu Yun turned around and left. Okay. Although Liu Yun had already turned around and left, 009 still respectfully obeyed the order. After Liu Yun walked for a while, he received a message from Zhang Yang. "Zhang Yang, have you seen 009? "Liu Yun, I saw it." Zhang Yang. Although she is a mechanical human, she is almost the same as a human. If you have some things that are inconvenient for you to come forward for, just arrange them for her. However, you should also note that she also has human emotions, so don't be too harsh on her." Liu Yun. "Well, I will pay attention." Zhang Yang. "That's great. I really hope you grow up soon and take you for a walk around Kunlun ruins." After Zhang Yang finished speaking, he stopped sending messages. Chapter 35, The Unexpected Surprise. After the 5th evolution, Liu Yun walked for a while and found that 009 would keep a certain distance from him. If he wanted to find her, he would find her immediately. There's a reason why Liu Yun did not reject Zhang Yang and the others and accepted 009. First, as Zhang Yang said, there are some things that are really inconvenient for him to do. After all, I'm still a child and I have to go to school. If I'm doing business somewhere far away, I cannot go there. Second, Liu Yun didn't know if this 009 was sent by Xianzhou to watch over him. After all, from Xianzhou's perspective, no matter how talented Liu Yun is, he is still just a child. They have invested so many resources in cultivating Liu Yun, and they definitely don't want to train someone who goes astray. A child like Liu Yun has great strength. It is hard to say whether he will go astray if no one is watching over him. Liu Yun himself has the mind of an adult, but Xianzhou doesn't know that there is an adult soul in his small body. Liu Yun didn't care about this. He had taken so many benefits from Xianzhou, and it didn't matter whether they asked people to help him or supervise him. As long as 009 doesn't harm himself, that's fine. If something goes against him, Liu Yun has a way to counter it. After all, he has one major advantage, and that is his growth rate. Even the immortal boat could not estimate their own growth rate. After Liu Yun entered the community, Liu Yun discovered that 009 also came to his community and went to a small courtyard near his home. This made Liu Yun sigh with emotion. Xianzhou was really thoughtful and arranged a room for 009 so quickly. The arrival of 009 had no impact on Liu Yun at first. He should still practice martial arts and purify the beast elixir when he should. At the beginning, Liu Yun could only purify the elementary beast elixir. After 1 month, Liu Yun can try to purify the middle-level beast elixir. The success rate of the middle level's beast elixir is even lower. However, the beast elixir will not be destroyed if it fails. You can repeat trial and error, and Liu Yun doesn't care. Before you know it, another semester has passed. During this year's final exam, Liu Yun did not accept any small tasks. But Liu Yun still didn't dare to slack off. After all, he still needed to be the first in grade every semester for the past 6 years of elementary school. If he fell behind in one semester, it would be a waste. After the exam, Liu Yun returned home and silently checked his current attributes. Liu Yun, 7 years old, race, human, physique, 186, soul, 101, strength, 242, agility, 235, comprehension, 100, evolution progress, 40%. Achievements: human cubs, quick steps, leader in kindergarten, reading thousands of books and traveling thousands of miles, proficient in boxing. And the great chivalrous person serves the country and the people. Martial skills: Kyushu basic boxing, full level. Taizu Chongquan, full level. Soul control method, full level. Wujikwan, full level. 8 extremities boxing, full level. Feng Yun fist, full level. Soul meditation method, full level. Wind step, full level. Wind step, 2461/2000. Immortal diamond technique, 24361/5000. Zhodian key-inducing technique, 7644/5000. Tinshu soul chapter, 9543/1000. Purification, 4522/1000. Now Liu Yun's strength on martial Dao has also successfully entered the realm of martial king. The progress of the purification technique was less than halfway because Liu Yun spent more time practicing wind step and wind walk. However, this summer, Liu Yun plans to purify the middle-level beast elixirs he captured. Among the 30 beast pills, there are a total of 6 middle-level beast pills. The one he successfully purified was 1. He only needs to purify 1 more, and he will be able to evolve smoothly. Liu Yun then took out a middle-level beast pill and began the path of purification. The probability of his current purification technique purifying the middle-level beast elixir is not high, only 20%. But even with this 20% probability, Liu Yun still faced failure again and again. Liu Yun even doubted whether this probability was false. This lasted for 5 days. This day was Saturday, and at night, Liu Yun performed purification again. Finally, the second middle-level beast pill was successfully evolved. After the evolution was successful, Liu Yun immediately took out the remaining 4 middle-level beast pills given by Xianzhou. Every time Liu Yun takes a beast pill, his evolution level increases by 10%. After swallowing all 6 and successfully digesting them, the evolution progress reached 100%. At this moment, Liu Yun received the evolution option. The 5th evolution is available. Please select the evolution option. Evolution option 1. Evolve to Dantian. Soul plus 20. Beast control technique. It's a choice, but there's no choice at all. Liu Yun directly chose to evolve to Dantian. The next moment, Liu Yun only felt that his head was dizzy for a while. After a while, he regained clarity. After regaining his clarity, Liu Yun felt that his range of perception had expanded many times in an instant. Outside the yard, he could feel the squirming movements of small insects in the grass. Liu Yun felt that this was comparable to cultivating an immortal. In addition to this change, it is the secret of beast control. The function of this beast control technique is none other than for controlling beasts. As long as the soul strength is more than 10 points lower than Liu Yun, he can control it smoothly. However, the proficiency level of animal control technique is 50,000 points. Only when you practice it to the full level can you have a 100% success rate. If he is not satisfied with his proficiency, it is not that easy to control even a savage beast whose soul is much weaker than his. If you want to practice this beast control technique, you don't need to find wild beasts. Ordinary small animals can also be used for practice. So Liu Yun can even use common small animals, such as ants and mosquitoes, for training. Anyway, after successfully controlling the beast, the control can be released at any time. After the evolution was successful, the first thing Liu Yun wanted to see was to see how much progress the middle-level beast pill could improve him. When he saw the progress that could be improved, although it was expected, he still felt it was a pity. Originally, a middle-level beast elixir that could improve the performance by 10% could only improve the progress by 1%. Liu Yun guessed that if nothing unexpected happened, his natural growth rate based on normal eating should be 30%. In other words, to successfully evolve, 70 middle-level beast pills are needed. Liu Yun felt that maybe he could consider targeting high-level beast pills. When Liu Yun was thinking about this, he suddenly received a reminder. Successfully evolve the upper, middle, and lower Dantian and obtain the achievement. Transcendent Human. Achievement Transcendent Human. All attributes plus 10. Comprehension plus 10. Liu Yun did not expect that after strengthening the upper, middle, and lower dantian, there would be unexpected gains. This achievement also made Liu Yun notice a problem. That is, among all attributes, comprehension is not included. In other words, after completing the mission of elementary school, the added attributes do not include comprehension. After the remaining middle-level beast elixirs are purified, they can be given to father and mother, but I don't know if they will be useful to them. Liu Yun decided in his heart. After resting for a night, Liu Yun quickly found a nest of ants hiding in the soil in his yard the next day. This is because his soul has now reached 131 points. Otherwise, he would not have found these ants hiding in the soil so easily. After Liu Yun found these ants, he began to run the animal control technique to try to control these ants. Chapter 36. Father is injured. Liu Yun squatted here and tried to control these ants. If you don't try, you won't know. If you try, you will be shocked, because he found that it was extremely easy to control, and he could basically succeed after just 1 or 2 tries. If the control is successful once, the increased proficiency will be 3 to 5 points. While he was immersed here, he suddenly heard his mother calling him from behind. "Yunner, what are you doing here?" Zhao King asked curiously. She usually watched Liu Yun practice hard, but today he was squatting here and playing, which made her feel very puzzled. "I'm observing small animals. By the way, Mom, I just have something I want to tell you," Liu Yun said seriously. "What's up?" After Liu Yun's rhetorical question, Zhao King didn't ask him why he was observing small animals. "Are the elementary and middle-level beast pills useful to you?" "I have some elementary and middle-level beast pills left here, but they're no longer useful to me," Liu Yundao said. "Beast pill? Was it given by Xianzhou?" Zhao King asked. "Yeah." Liu Yun nodded. "Yunner, even if they don't enhance you much, as long as they are of some use, you have to take them yourself. Xianzhou has given you so many resources, so he should also assess you. If you are unable to do so because of the lack of some resources, it will be bad if you pass the test of Xianzhou." Zhao King persuaded seriously. The beast elixir was so precious that Liu Yun's parents had never obtained it before. Whether the beast elixir is useful to a person depends on one's strength, and the other is whether he has taken it. Liu Yun took too much and became much stronger after evolving. So these beast elixirs are of no use to him, but it was indeed of great use to his parents. But even so, Zhao King, as a mother, is still unwilling to ask for these resources from her son. Because she couldn't see how strong her son was, she was worried that she would not be able to pass Xianzhou's assessment, and Xianzhou might reduce her son's resources. Regarding his mother's concern, Liu Yun said confidently, "Mom, don't worry. Not to mention that Xianzhou has not said there will be any assessment. Even if there is any assessment, I can pass it easily. In addition, these beast elixirs are of little use to me. It's all gone. I took a middle-level elixir yesterday, and it didn't help at all." Although the middle-level beast pill he took was still somewhat useful, Liu Yun felt that 1%, rounded up, was indeed useless. "Really?" Zhao King looked at her and asked solemnly. "Yeah." Liu Yun nodded heavily. "Well, I'll wait for your father to come back and discuss it with him." Zhao King said. "Yeah, I'll share the beast elixir with you when the time comes," Liu Yun said with a smile. "Your matter is over. Now tell me, what do you do to observe animals?" Zhao King didn't ask just now, but that doesn't mean she forgot. "This is a way for me to practice and improve my soul. I use my spiritual perception to sense the small animals in this layer," Liu Yun said seriously. "Really?" Zhao King was doubtful. "Well, Mom, look, there will be a few ants crawling out here soon." Liu Yun pointed to a piece of fluffy soil in front of him. He controlled a few ants controlled by him to crawl out from there. After he finished speaking, the ants crawled out. Seeing this scene, Zhao King was shocked. She was completely convinced at this time and said with a smile, "Then I won't disturb your practice." After that, he went home. On this day, Liu Yun practiced the beast control technique here for a long time, and then went to practice the Zhou Tian Qi technique, immortal diamond technique, and other exercises. A fulfilling day passed. Liu Yun thought it was another ordinary day. Until dusk, the moment his father Liu Hong came back. When my father came back, there was a lot of blood on his body. In the past, my father would occasionally come back with blood stains, but it was all animal blood. However, The bloodstain that came back today was not just animal blood. Liu Yun's soul power is so strong now that he is very sensitive to these perceptions. Among the bloodstains, there is also his father's blood. Looking at his father's state at this time, his expression was obviously abnormal. Mother Zhao King also noticed the problem. She quickly walked to Lu Hong and asked, "Husband, what's going on? Are you injured?" "It's okay. It's just a minor injury. I'll just rest for a few days. It's just right. I can spend some time with you at home these days," Father said with a smile. But Liu Yun could tell that his smile was to prevent them from worrying. Although he was still bandaged through his clothes, Liu Yun was certain that his father was seriously injured now. He asked his father directly, "Dad, what's going on? I don't know what happened to the beast that attacked today." Suddenly, there was a very strong beast. "We injured several people, but we only wounded it. It then fled into the mountains. We don't know when it will come out." Lu Hong sighed. "Don't you know what's going on?" Liu Yun frowned slightly. His father had now exceeded the strength of the martial emperor. There must be other martial emperors in their true martial department. Such a savage beast actually appeared in the city defense area. So wouldn't it be even more serious outside the Kunlun ruins? Let's not talk about this anymore. Let's eat first. After the meal is over, let's rest peacefully for a night. I'll be fine tomorrow." After Lu Hong finished speaking, he walked to his bedroom to change clothes. Liu Yun thought for a moment, but didn't continue to ask. He knew that as a parent, his father sometimes had his pride, and he didn't want his family to worry about these things. Even if he knows that he is stronger than him, he is still willing to be the pillar of the family. Liu Yun decided to ask Zhang Yang and 009 later. Now he not only has contact information with Zhang Yang, but also with 009. After all, if she wants to do things for herself, she definitely needs the contact information. My father changed his clothes and came out, and the family sat and ate normally. After dinner, Liu Yun went to his bedroom and first sent a message to Zhang Yang. "Liu Yun, Uncle Zhang, is it not peaceful at Kunlun ruins recently? Why are there savage beasts capable of hurting the martial emperor on the Zhuqing side?" "Zhang Yang, I was just planning to tell you about this, but unexpectedly you sent me a message." "Zhang Yang, 10 poison-beaked falcons escaped from the Kunlun ruins, and one of them escaped to the city. I just checked with the True Martial Department and found out that the True Martial Department injured 6 people. We need your help to hunt down this venomous falcon, and we need to find its heart to rescue these injured people." Liu Yun, use its heart to save people? Will the person he hurts be poisoned? After all, this beast is called the poison-beaked falcon. It is obviously a poisonous bird, and we have to take its heart, which is obviously poisonous. Thinking of this, Liu Yun became even more worried. After all, his father would also be one of the injured, so regardless of whether it was his mission or not, he had to hunt it down as soon as possible. "Zhang Yang, yes, the position of the poison-beaked falcon has been locked by the satellite. I will pass the position to you. You and 009 can go and do this." Liu Yun, "Okay, Zhang Yang, the sooner, the better. The poison of the poison-beaked falcon can cause serious damage to people. It's okay on the first day, but starting from the second day, the pain will double." Liu Yun, yeah. After Liu Yun replied to this message, he sent another message to 009. "Liu Yun, gather outside the community. Let's go do something." After sending the message, Liu Yun walked out of the bedroom. When he went outside, he said to his mother who was washing dishes, "Mom, I have to go out to do something. Please leave the door for me." "Working? What's the matter?" Zhao Qing's face darkened. It was already dark at this time. "What are you doing out so late?" Moreover, he also said that he would leave the door open for him, which meant that he would not come back until very late. Chapter 37 set off to hunt wild beasts. It's the test of Xianzhou. Liu Yun said to his mother ambiguously. As soon as he finished speaking, he saw his father walking out of the bedroom. "Yun'er, what test in Xianzhou requires you to go out so late?" he asked solemnly. "Just to deal with some matters. Someone from Xianzhou came to pick me up." Liu Yundao, "What's the matter?" Lu Hong sounded a little angry. If it was daytime, on an ordinary day, he wouldn't care. However, today, he couldn't simply let Liu Yun go. First, it was too late, and second, the weird thing that happened today made Lu Hong feel that it was not safe outside. Liu Yun saw that his father was a little angry, and this anger was obviously because he cared about him. So he had to be honest with his father. Dad, was the one that attacked you today a falcon? Liu Yun asked first. Huh? Yes, what's wrong? Lu Hong asked doubtfully. The name of that falcon is the poison-beaked falcon. Anyone injured by it will be poisoned. You won't feel anything today, but the poison will start to appear tomorrow. After the poison is applied, it will cause unbearable pain. The longer it lasts, the more toxic it will be. The stronger it gets, it will even poison people to death. Liu Yun said in a solemn tone. What? Yunner, where did you get the news? Upon hearing this, Zhao Qing's expression changed drastically. The news from Xianzhou is that if you want to detoxify, you need to get the heart of the poison-beaked falcon, Liu Yun said. So, you're going to kill the poison-beaked falcon. Lu Hong looked at him and asked word by word. Dad, my soul is now over 100 years old, so you don't need to worry at all. Liu Yun said seriously. What? Zhao Qing and Lu Hong exclaimed in unison. The soul is over 100. How powerful it is, they know all too well. Having a soul that exceeds 100 means that the strength has surpassed that of a 9-star soul controller. If the soul is really broken, then there is really no danger in facing the poison-beaked falcon. Seeing his parents' reaction, Liu Yun continued to strike while the iron was hot. Father and mother, don't worry. There are people from Xianzhou who are traveling with me this time, and they are masters close to martial saint in strength. Yinner, it's not that Dad doesn't believe you. It's just that this matter is too important. You said that your soul has exceeded 100. Can you prove it to us? Lu Hong asked. That's no problem. Let's go to the courtyard. After Liu Yun finished speaking, he walked to the courtyard first. When he arrived in the yard, Liu Yun looked at a stone weighing more than 300 kilograms. Liu Yun's thoughts moved slightly, and the more than 300 kilograms of stone actually slowly flew up. After the stone flew up, it actually spun rapidly over his yard. If you hadn't seen it with your own eyes, it would be hard to believe that this stone could be manipulated so easily. As a soul control master, Zhao Qing knows best how much soul power it takes to control such a heavy thing so easily. She took the lead and said to Liu Yun, Yunner, put away. I believe you. Your mother said so. Then put it down. Lu Hong waved his hand and asked him to put down the stone. After Liu Yun put the stone back in its place, he said to his father, Dad, I will be back as soon as possible. Be careful. Although your soul power is very strong, your physical body is not that strong after all. If it gets close to you, you're still in danger. The beast is very fast, so there's a risk of getting close to you. Lu Hong reminded. Yeah, I'll pay attention. Dad, Mom, I'm leaving. After Liu Yun finished speaking, he turned around and walked out of the yard. The parents watched Liu Yun walk away, and Lu Hong murmured, Alas, from now on, we will have to rely on our son. Isn't it our dream to have a successful child? Zhao Qing said with a smile. However, I still feel a little weird seeing him being able to stand alone at such a young age. Lu Hong said, spreading his hands. Go back to the house. Let's wait for the good news about our son with peace of mind. Zhao Qing said, pulling Lu Hong into the house. When Liu Yun walked out of the community, 009 was already waiting here. Seeing Liu Yun coming, she said respectfully, Master, where are we going now? The title Master was what Zhang Yang and the others asked her to call her. Liu Yun couldn't resist, so he let her go, and now he's used to it. Going to Sheeping Mountain where the city is built. Can you contact someone so we can go there quickly? Liu Yun asked, Do you want to go there quickly? This is not difficult. Master, wait a moment. After 009 said that, he took out his mobile phone. Liu Yun saw that she quickly sent a message. Then, he said to Liu Yun, Master, let's go to the front and wait. Okay. Liu Yun nodded and walked to the front with her. They waited for more than 10 minutes, but saw a helicopter flying down and stopping in the open space in front of them. At this time, 009 said to Liu Yun, Master, this is the helicopter of Xinzhou's branch in Zhucheng. I will inform them and ask them to send us there. There is actually a helicopter here in the branch. This is quite convenient. Liu Yun knew that there was a branch of Xinzhou in Zhucheng, but he didn't know that there was such a means of transportation here. At this time, the Xinzhou member on the helicopter greeted them. Are you the inspector? Master Inspector? Well, it's me. Liu Yun finally remembered after the other person said this. Yes, it says Xianzhou Patrol Division on my ID card. The two of them walked over and got on a helicopter. Liu Yun said to the members, "Go to Sheeping Mountain." "Yes, Sir Inspector." He did not doubt Liu Yun's identity. After all, Liu Yun didn't dare to pretend to be 009 by his side. Liu Yun looked at this man, and all his information could be seen in Liu Yun's eyes. Guocheng, elite human physical, 53 soul, 62 strength, 42 agility, 39 comprehension. 70 Guocheng's has some martial Dao, but not much. However, as a person from Xianzhou, the power of the soul goes without saying. 62 points of soul power, 6-star soul controller. Guocheng drove a helicopter towards Sheeping Mountain under the moonlit night. Zaipingshan is to the northwest of Zhucheng, and it took half an hour to arrive. When they came to the foot of Sheeping Mountain, Liu Yun found a very strong aura here. He seems to be a very powerful martial Dao master. Their helicopter stopped on a flat ground, and the other party also noticed their arrival. When Liu Yun and 009 came down, they saw the person with a very strong aura of martial Dao. It turns out to be Grandpa Shang. Liu Yun was a little surprised, but he didn't expect Grandpa Shang to come here in person. He knew the strength of Grandpa Shang, the strength of Martial Saint. When Liu Yun...
No more novels? Take part in the voting. The most requested novels and those with the most likes will be chosen for publication on euroaudiobooks.com. There, I can upload as much as I want without the risk of receiving a strike. Our 18 novels and other content that exceed what is morally acceptable are only published on Patreon or the free novels page. Remember, the site is funded by donations on Ko-fi and Patreon memberships.